Chapter 1048. From the outside, one could clearly see that the vast Buddha mountain was trembling violently again and again. Every time it trembled, the mighty force that erupted faintly dimmed the entire Buddha mountain. With Mahavairakana's cultivation, he could naturally feel the huge changes that had occurred in the Buddha mountain and the endless slaughter caused by Deshurtian. This Buddha mountain was an imitation of the supreme divine weapon of Buddhism, the celestial thousand Buddhas pagoda. It was a peak supreme grade divine artifact that was half a step away from being a supreme grade divine artifact. It contained countless Buddhist kingdoms built by Buddhists. Each Buddhist kingdom had a supreme defense that could withstand the attacks of ordinary peerless experts. In addition, the Buddhist scriptures gathered endless power of faith. Generally speaking, even a peerless expert could not easily destroy a Buddhist kingdom. If one could not destroy it, under the power of countless Buddhist scriptures, one would be subjected to endless suppression in the Buddha mountain. Being surrounded by countless Buddhist scriptures, no matter how strong one's will was, it would slowly be converted bit by bit. It had to be said that Buddhism had a good plan. However, they had missed one point. Although Deshurtian, who had proven his Tao through strength, could not compare to those peerless experts who had condensed the immortal primordial spirit, the Emperor's will was always the most tenacious, powerful, and unshakable of all kinds of wills in the world. Even if the primordial spirit was Deshurtian's weakness, it was still not easy to break through. In addition, the celestial Emperor's chariot was a top innate spiritual treasure. Inside, the suppression from the Buddha mountain was resisted by the chariot. Immemorial 9 dragons pulling the chariot. In the Buddhist kingdom, all the suppression simply couldn't restrain Sakra. On the contrary, under the celestial Emperor's chariot, countless Buddhist disciples were turned into ants waiting to be slaughtered. Every time the judgment battle spear struck, a Buddhist kingdom would be destroyed. This was not a dragon trapped in a shoal, but a tiger in a flock of sheep. Buddha also has fire, Buddha also has anger, glaring Vajra. Subdue demons. Mahavairakana saw the scene in the Shumi Buddha mountain and naturally could not ignore it. He immediately let out a Buddhist roar. Behind his head, the wheel of merit and virtue, which was as bright as the sun, began to spin. In the wheel of merit and virtue, countless Buddhas, Arhats, and wisdom kings were praying. Suddenly, all the Buddhas and Arhats opened their eyes. As the wheel of merit and virtue spun, they turned into golden seeds of Buddha and sank into the Buddha mountain. Each Buddha seed, after entering the Buddha mountain, immediately appeared in various spatial faults, arriving in front of a vast Buddhist kingdom, and fell into it. Amateus. Countless Buddhists saw this and their eyes burned with passion. Without hesitation, they threw themselves into the Buddha seed. Rumble. In the Buddha King, the Buddha King. Buddha King Wisdom King had a look in his eyes. Buddha King Buddha King's eyes as he. Buddha King Wisdom King Wisdom. King Wisdom King Buddha King Wisdom King King, and was God of the King. Holding the Vajra scepter in his hand, he let out a furious roar. Crack! In the void, ferocious dragon claws tore a terrifying crack in the void. The immemorial 9 dragons pulled the celestial Emperor's chariot through the crack and instantly saw the lofty Wisdom King standing in this space. Evildoer, die! The Wisdom King was infuriated. The Vajra scepter in his hand was covered in a thick layer of golden flames. He smashed it down at Deshurtian in a domineering manner. The power contained within the Vajra scepter was extremely majestic. It was as if a vast mountain was crashing down. The flames that emerged from the pestle incinerated the space around it. Bang! Just as the Vajra pestle was about to hit the celestial Emperor's chariot, the judgment battle spear appeared under the Vajra pestle at an unbelievable angle and collided violently with it. Countless Buddhists appeared on every inch of the Wisdom King's body. They were praying piously, emitting a pure power of faith that poured into the Wisdom King's body, strengthening the Wisdom King endlessly. He was like the ancestor of all Buddhas. The power that he unleashed increased by tenfold. Rumble! The celestial emperor's chariot was smashed back by the vast power of the Wisdom King. The immemorial 9 dragons at the front roared angrily. The dragon claws under them kept slashing forward, bursting with boundless power. They forcefully stopped the chariot in midair. At the same time, the Wisdom King's body trembled violently as if it had been struck by lightning. The Buddhists on its body were smashed into countless pieces. Its feet kept retreating. Countless terrifying cracks appeared on the ground, spreading out in all directions like a spiderweb. It took a total of 10 steps back. Using a secret technique to gather hundreds of millions of Buddhists to form a Wisdom King. All the power is poured into the Wisdom King's body. Finally, the Wisdom King has supreme combat strength that is comparable to an unparalleled expert. Sakra saw through the true state of this Wisdom King with a single glance. However, he wasn't surprised as he sneered, "So what if you've condensed into a Wisdom King? You Buddhists are destined to become the stepping stones of this emperor's path. Suppress demons. Evildoers shall be killed." The void was torn apart again and again. One by one, the Wisdom Kings broke through the void and came out of the void. They completely surrounded Di Shurtian and the Celestial Emperor's chariot. There were thousands of them. Roar! Di Shurtian saw this and sneered. As soon as he finished speaking, the countless extreme King-Emperor talismans in his body spat out a huge amount of power. Under the control of his will, the power surged into his throat, accumulating and compressing. His closed mouth opened without any warning. Waves of energy flowed down his throat in a strange rhythm and roared out from his mouth. Rumble! An unprecedented tyrannical tiger roar instantly soared into the sky. With Sakra as the center, one could clearly see that the space outside his body didn't even have the slightest resistance. It was shattered into countless fragments by the sound wave of the tiger roar. The purplish-golden sound wave crazily spread out in all directions. Under the violent vibrations of the sound waves, the fragments of space were annihilated inch by inch, crumbling to the point where they were less than dust. Everywhere was a scene of great destruction. The ground was shattered into pieces. Wherever the purplish-gold sound wave appeared, nothing was left unscathed. As for the Wisdom Kings near the chariot, they did not even have the strength to resist. They were directly engulfed by the purplish-gold sound waves. After a few moments, they were shattered into countless pieces and were sucked into the Celestial Emperor furnace. Roar! 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 The remaining Wisdom Kings reacted and let out the lion's roar. Golden sound waves surged forward to meet the attack. Tiger's roar versus lion's roar. Countless spatial rifts crumbled in the sound wave. A large number of Wisdom Kings used all their strength to resist the tiger's roar. However, even though these Wisdom Kings had unparalleled battle prowess, they were not truly unparalleled powerhouses. Compared to Sakra, they were incomparable. The Supreme Emperor Talisman that was formed in the Supreme Emperor Physique could be considered the most miraculous source of power. It supported the tiger's roar, causing the sound waves to come one after another. It was endless, and its power was endless. The purplish-gold tiger's roar crushed the golden lion's roar and sucked all the Wisdom Kings into the sound waves. The Buddha will not let you go. The Wisdom Kings let out shrill cries and were torn into countless pieces by the sound waves. A power that does not belong to you. How much battle strength can you use? What a bunch of trash. Not only will I destroy the Buddhist kingdom, but I will also kill those so-called Buddhas and destroy the pure land of bliss. Whoever stands in my way will be judged by me. Di Shurtian did not even bother to respond to the curses of the Wisdom Kings. He sneered and activated the Heavenly Emperor furnace with all his might. He sucked all the broken bodies of the Wisdom Kings into the furnace. Rumble! The entire Heavenly Emperor's chariot shook violently. Waves of Emperor Dragon essence gushed out from the furnace and filled every inch of the chariot in the blink of an eye. Countless purplish gold dragon essence entered the body through the pores of the chariot. It was poured into the rank 11 Black Lotus. Ding ding ding! Around the 11th grade Black Lotus, a heavenly voice filled with temptation resounded. Countless fantasies constantly appeared around the Black Lotus. Joy, anger, sorrow, fear, seeing, taste, fragrance, touch, will, hearing, worry. 11 types of desire power flashed around the Black Lotus continuously, forming an illusion. A large amount of desire power was poured into the Black Lotus, especially the power of worry, which quickly rushed into the rank 11 area. The power of worry in the Black Lotus had completely turned into a viscous liquid state. The Emperor Dragon essence that was produced after killing hundreds of millions of Buddhist disciples and refining them was simply too huge. It was so huge that when it surged into the Black Lotus, it completely filled up the space within the 11th grade Black Lotus. Worry! Worry! Between heaven and earth there are all kinds of love. Worry is not enough. Worry for the country, worry for the people, worry for the heavens and earth. In the rank 11 area, when it could no longer absorb any more power of worry, the power of worry inside suddenly changed. In the blink of an eye, it formed a terrifying realm of worry. Strange heavenly sounds came from within. It quickly filled the entire demon abode and fell into his mind. A strong devouring force instantly bound his mind. Without any surprise, he was pulled into the realm of desolation. Haha, good. 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 The appearance of the realm of worry is the precursor to a breakthrough. Moreover, the location is the best place to transcend the tribulation. Being in the Buddha mountain, your mind can transcend the tribulation of the realm of desire, and the tribulation of the unparalleled expert outside is just right for those damned bald donkeys to bear. Those bald donkeys went for wool and came back with muddy rice instead. Dark laughed wildly. I was just about to go outside and see the faces of those bald donkeys. It will be very interesting. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1049. Those with tickets, please stand up. Roar. Roar. The primordial 9 dragons stopped at a spatial fault and arrogantly let out dragon roars that were filled with ferocious aura towards the surroundings. They had an unyielding appearance. Following Sakra, they had thoroughly tasted the joy of being able to move unhindered in the heavens and earth without any restrictions. Whoever blocked their path, they would directly kill them. They turned to look at the Supreme Emperor body standing on the chariot, their eyes full of worship and awe. Shirtian's mind was completely pulled into the realm of desire. His eyes slowly closed. Countless dragon-shaped dragon essences enveloped his entire body and surged into his body. It gathered and turned into the royal true force, attacking the 12th demon vein. Auntie, Sister Zishuan, why is father standing still? Is father injured? Du looked at Shirtian, who was motionless, with worry in her clear eyes. She asked in a childish voice. Little don't worry. Brother must be cultivating and breaking through now. Ling looked at Shirtian with certainty, stroked Du's little head and said, I have heard from brother that the Royal Shocking Book is a peerless book in the world. It is a supreme cultivation method that is connected to the 7 emotions and 6 desires. Every time you break through, you must go through the test of the realm of desire and heavenly tribulation at the same time. Brother must be going through the test of the realm of desire. In her eyes there was not much worry, but a strong sense of confidence. All along she had always believed that as long as her brother wanted to do something, he would definitely be able to do it. There was nothing that could be difficult for him. Father is the strongest. Dian's eyes were firm, showing a yearning look. This is so fun. If he goes through the heavenly tribulation in this Shumi Buddha mountain, the first ones that the heavenly tribulation will hit will be the group of bald donkeys outside. Zishuan blinked her eyes and said with interest, I heard that there is a saying in the human clan that it is better to tear down 10 temples than to break a marriage. The doctrine of Buddhism was that after becoming a monk, one had to abandon one's wife and children, and ignore the love of the mortal world. Wouldn't that be equivalent to destroying one's family for every believer and disciple of Buddhism? There are countless bodhisattvas and disciples in Buddhism. Doesn't that mean countless marriages have been broken? How many temples should be demolished? The bald donkeys of Buddhism should be struck by lightning every day. When Di Ling and the others heard Zixian's explanation, they couldn't help but laugh. Rumble! At this moment, when Di Shitian's entire mind was pulled into the state of desire, his qi was connected with the heavens and the earth. The heavens and the earth responded. Suddenly, countless dark clouds appeared out of thin air above the vast Buddha mountain and quickly gathered in the center. In the blink of an eye, it had condensed into a vast and boundless tribulation cloud. This tribulation cloud was very strange. After it was formed, it immediately changed. For a moment it was green, white, blue, black, and so on. All kinds of colors were constantly changing. Slowly, the entire tribulation cloud turned into 9 colors. Bolts of lightning of various colors shuttled through the tribulation clouds at an astonishing speed. The power contained in each bolt of lightning seemed to be able to shatter mountains and rivers as soon as they fell. The tribulation power within them had reached an unimaginably terrifying level. Every single strand could suppress any of the ancient giants. The vast pressure was like a tide roaring from the tribulation cloud in all directions. This kind of pressure was more of a kind of suppression on the mind, the divine soul, and the soul. It made people feel like they were facing the high and mighty God. The vast tribulation cloud almost covered a large area of the void. It was at least hundreds of thousands of miles or even millions of miles. The pressure was so strong that it made the entire heavenly realm strangely silent. Pairs of eyes were looking at the unusually condensed tribulation cloud. Tribulation clouds, these aren't ordinary tribulation clouds, they're karmic tribulations that one must go through to become a peerless expert. Why are they gathering above my Shumi Buddha mountain? Is someone preparing to break through? No, this is the heavenly realm. Only peerless experts can enter the heavenly realm, and only peerless experts can trigger karmic tribulations. Mahavairakana could not help but frown slightly. The figure of the Supreme Buddha mountain suddenly appeared in his mind. His expression changed on the spot. He immediately remembered that the Buddha mountain had attained Tao through strength. To the orthodox Buddha mountain, he was not considered a true supreme expert. He could still trigger the tribulation and break through to become an ancient demon god. Oh no! The demon emperor is using the Shumi Buddha mountain as a shield to block the tribulation of heaven and earth for him. What a vicious scheme! He wants to destroy the Shumi Buddha mountain. Chakravarti Buddha showed a hint of surprise. He had already guessed that if the demon emperor was really undergoing the tribulation of heaven and earth in the Buddha mountain, this Shumi Buddha mountain would block the tribulation of heaven and earth for the demon emperor and be smashed into pieces. He felt bitter in his heart. It was a miscalculation. It was a huge mistake to bring the demon emperor into the Buddha mountain. He was not a pushover, but a terrifying god of plague, the kind that refused to leave. He would not believe that the demon emperor was willing to come out now. This was what it meant to go for wool and come home to roost. If the demon emperor did not want to come out, who would dare to rush into the Shumi Buddha mountain to force him out? When the tribulation of heaven and earth was triggered, even if a powerful expert intervened, he might be directly affected by the chi dynamic and trigger the 5 decay of heaven and earth. That would be the real unlucky. Neither Chakravarti Buddha nor Mahavairakana was willing to gamble on this. Haha, you bald donkeys! Now, have a taste of your own medicine. Seeing the tribulation clouds gathering rapidly in the sky, Know-it-all, who was in a fierce battle with Chakravarti Buddha, could not help but stop. Looking at the tribulation clouds and the vast Shumi Buddha mountain, a gloating expression appeared in his eyes. He knew De Chertion's temperament too well. When he was in the demon realm, De Chertion dared to use a demon emperor as a shield to resist the tribulation of heaven. Now, he was afraid that he was going to use the same trick again. Brother Chertion is indeed extraordinary. After attaining the Tao with strength, he attains the immortal primordial spirit again. If he succeeds in attaining the Tao for the second time, there will be very few people in the world who can be his match. Moreover, he has the Tao foundation of attaining the Tao Dominator. There was a ripple in the void, and the Fengdu Ghost Emperor, who was dressed in a black dragon robe, walked out. He looked at the tribulation clouds in the void with a solemn expression. There was a trace of expectation in his eyes. Rumble! Even the sky-toppling ancient painting could not restrain the vast coercion. It directly descended on the purple-gold mainland. Countless cultivators felt as if there were countless mountains pressing down on their bodies. It was abnormally oppressive and uncomfortable. However, there was more fear and curiosity. Heavenly tribulation, this is the heavenly tribulation. Legend has it that the demon emperor did not follow the orthodox path of attaining the Tao. Instead, he first cultivated his demon body to an unimaginable state, attaining the Tao with strength. His combat strength is no different from an unparalleled expert. However, his primordial spirit has yet to attain the immortal realm. Could this be the beginning of the heavenly tribulation for the demon emperor to become an ancient demon god? The Buddha sect is probably fuming with anger now. They wanted to convert the demon emperor, but they did not expect to convert a terrifying god of plagues who could explode at any time. I'm afraid they are regretting it so much that their intestines are turning green. I wonder if the demon emperor can survive this heavenly tribulation. Once he does, the power of the demon court will increase exponentially and reach an unimaginable state. All the cultivators looked at the scene in the void in horror. In their minds, they kept guessing what kind of terrifying scene would occur once De Chertion attained the Tao for the second time. Their fear of the demon court became even more intense. In the ancient heavenly toppling painting, all the battles in the heavenly realm stopped almost instantly and gathered towards the Buddha mountain. Their eyes were fixed on the tribulation clouds, but no expert dared to act without permission. At this moment, in De Chertion's body, his entire mind was completely immersed in the realm of desire. After entering the realm of desire, naturally, the realm of desire would completely seal off his memories. He threw himself into it. In the blink of an eye, he turned into an emperor in the realm of desire. However, this emperor was indecisive. Moreover, the country he owned was in a stage of wind and rain, surrounded by tigers, leopards, jackals, and wolves. The people lived in an abyss of suffering. All kinds of scenes immediately caused him to fall into a state of anxiety. He was unable to extricate himself, worried about the country, worried about the people. Even various scenes. The country was on the verge of destruction. Worry could not be dispelled. It should be known that worry was the most difficult to dispel, especially for emperors. Many of the last emperors did not die in the hands of rebels, but were buried in their own worries. They aged prematurely and had white hair. In the midst of the rise and fall of a country, the word worry was enough to drive an emperor crazy. Forever sinking and falling. Trapped in this illusion, if De Chertion could not see through the true meaning of worry in the realm of desire, he would inevitably sink into the illusion forever and never be able to transcend. Among the 7 emotions and 6 desires, the 6 desires were the easiest to pass. As long as one's willpower was strong enough, it was enough to resist. However, the 7 emotions were the most difficult. Every time one entered the realm of desire evolved from the 7 emotions, it was a test of life and death. It was like walking on the edge of a cliff. Life and death were only a step away, a thought away. This was also the reason why De Chertion put the cultivation of the 7 emotions last. Rumble! just as Di was immersed in the realm of desire. In the sky above the Shumi Buddha mountain, the vast tribulation cloud showed a seven-colored light. Countless terrifying tribulation thunder kept flashing. Suddenly, in the center of the tribulation cloud, there was a violent tumble. The tribulation cloud on both sides suddenly separated to the left and right. It was as if God had opened his closed eyes in an instant. A 10,000-foot wide nine-colored eye emerged from the tribulation cloud out of thin air. The eye constantly rippled with nine-colored divine splendor. Countless thunderbolts kept flashing. A vast pressure was constantly spewing out from the divine eye. The void under the eye was constantly twisting and even collapsing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The eye of the heavenly Tao. In the heavenly realm, several unparalleled experts could not help but exclaim. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1050. Since yesterday, I've been having a cold and fever. Now that I'm sick, it's really uncomfortable. Even my nostrils are blocked. It's very uncomfortable. I don't know if I can finish the second chapter, but I'll try my best to hold on. How is this possible? Why is it not the eye of heavenly punishment, but the eye of heavenly Tao? Could it be that the Shifter Emperor has reached such a level that even the heavens don't allow him to break through and want to destroy him at this moment? The eye of heavenly Tao. This is the legendary supreme divine eye that is even more powerful than the eye of heavenly punishment. It's a terrifying existence that only appears when a peerless master descends. This is the heavens wanting to destroy the Shifter Emperor, not allowing him to pass the tribulation and become an ancient shifter god. In the past, even the strongest ancient giant would only attract the eye of heavenly punishment at most when breaking through. I didn't expect the Shifter Emperor to be so extraordinary, attracting the eye of heavenly Tao unprecedented. Before the Shifter Emperor proved his Tao, he first proved his Tao with strength. His shifter body has already reached an incredible level. Among the peerless masters, few dare to say that they can definitely suppress him. He's the type that gets stronger when facing the strong. It seems that this second proving of Tao has already angered the heavens and provoked their wrath. They want to destroy him in the bud. Seeing the nine-colored divine eye and the indifferent expression that seemed to be supreme and dominating everything in the heavenly realm, all the peerless experts who witnessed it couldn't help but open their mouths wide, and their faces were filled with shock. Looking at the Shumi Buddha mountain, there was a faint sense of pity. Back then, the heavenly Tao between heaven and earth wanted to take form and break away from the shackles of heaven and earth to become a supreme existence like the ruler. However, if the heavenly Tao took form into a real life, it would extract the power of the 3,000 great Tao between heaven and earth. Once it took form, it would inevitably cause the 3,000 great Tao in the source world to suffer great damage. There was even a terrible danger of collapse. It was enough to cause heaven and earth to collapse. How could the will of heaven and earth agree? In the end, it forcibly shattered the heavenly Tao at its peak. When the heavenly Tao fell, its flesh and blood gave birth to two major races. One was the most mysterious race in heaven and earth, the heavenly punishment race, and the other was the equally mysterious celestial race. When the heavenly Tao fell, its pair of eyes were retained by the will of heaven and earth and integrated into the entire source world, becoming the supreme eye of the heavenly Tao. Punishment on behalf of the heavens. Even peerless experts would tremble in fear at the mere mention of it. However, it rarely appeared. The eye of the heaven Tao was a taboo topic even amongst the highest-level existences. No one could have guessed that the will of heaven and earth would test Di so harshly. Crack! Within the eye of the heavenly Tao, countless bolts of lightning constantly flickered. Vaguely, it emitted a supreme pressure that belonged to the 3,000 great Taos. It was as if the divine eye contained the complete 3,000 great Taos. The surrounding heaven and earth yuan qi poured into the divine eye like a tidal wave. He kept accumulating strength. Suddenly, a terrifying sound came from the void. A beam of green divine light shot out from the eye of the heavenly Tao and blasted towards the Buddha mountain below. This divine light was abnormally condensed. When it descended, it was like a gigantic divine pillar that reached the heavens. Contained within it was the might of the great Tao. This is the divine light of the great path. I've never seen the eye of the heavenly Tao with my own eyes before. I didn't expect that this divine eye's attack would directly drive the great Tao to launch an attack. This great Tao borrows the power of heaven and earth. Every attack can destroy a peerless expert. Indeed, it's extraordinarily terrifying. The pupils of many mighty figures shrank as if they had seen something unbelievable. Brother Shirtian is in trouble. The ghost emperor of Fengdu's expression also became unusually solemn. Even he felt a huge threat that he had never felt before from the eye of the heavenly Tao. Although he wanted to help Di Shirtian, this calamity of heaven and earth could not be interfered with at all. Once he got involved, he would be in danger of dying, not to mention whether he could help or not. In order to avoid harming the other party instead of helping, the ghost emperor of Fengdu did not immediately take action despite his worry. The demon emperor himself has great luck. He will definitely not die at this moment. The know-it-all murmured to himself with a certain look in his eyes. Rumble! Just as everyone was secretly thinking, the cyan pillar of the great path that fell from the divine eye instantly smashed into the vast and boundless Shumi Buddha mountain. Countless azure lightning bolts burst out from the pillar, carrying with them the power of calamity. They quickly covered the entire Mount Shumi. Wherever they went, countless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas appeared on the Mount Shumi and clashed violently with the lightning. Some of the lightning bolts were destroyed on the spot, but there were still countless Arhats and Buddhists who were instantly crushed. The Mount Shumi trembled violently as if there was an earthquake. With a crack, a terrifying crack appeared on the Mount Shumi under the pillar of the great path. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Move, however, the Mount Shumi was a powerful existence that was half a step away from the supreme level. How could it be attacked so easily? Inside the Mount Shumi, countless Bodhisattvas and Arhats chanted sutras. Pure Buddhist power gushed out from the Mount Shumi and condensed into domineering swastikas in an instant. They violently crashed into the pillar of the great path. Monstrous Buddhist power erupted from the Buddha mountain, shaking the green pillar of the great path until it crumbled inch by inch. The Mount Shumi didn't shatter so easily. Of course, this was only a test by the eye of the heavenly Tao. As soon as the azure pillar of the heavenly Tao shattered, 3 beams of light, one blue, one white, and one gold, shot out from the eye of the heavenly Tao and slammed into the Mount Shumi. From the looks of it, the eye of the heavenly Tao wouldn't rest until the Mount Shumi was completely destroyed. At the same time, the eye of the heavenly Tao's attacks caused countless spatial rifts in the Buddhist kingdom to shatter at an astonishing speed. Auntie, you is a little scared. When will Daddy wake up? The space around the celestial emperor's chariot was shattering into countless fragments. Terrifying catastrophes swept toward the chariot again and again, but were blocked by the celestial emperor's canopy. They couldn't invade the chariot in the slightest. Despite that, Diu still felt uneasy. Don't be scared, Ur. Those catastrophes won't be able to break through the canopy. Big Brother will wake up soon. Although Di Ling was also worried, she didn't show it on her face. Instead, she calmly comforted her 2 little ones. In the realm of desire. Di Shirtian was still immersed in the realm of desire, unable to extricate himself. He was still in a state of endless melancholy. It seemed like he would never be able to wake up from this state of worry. The kingdom is in the midst of a storm, and the people are in deep trouble. How can I not be worried? They are all my people. In the realm of desire, Di Shirtian wore a dragon robe and walked in the imperial garden. His mind kept replaying the tragic experiences of the people and the precarious situation of the imperial court. He was immersed in these thoughts and couldn't let go. With his memories sealed, he didn't know what was going on outside his body. Rumble! The eye of the heavenly Tao was no ordinary existence. Since it appeared, it no longer controlled lightning. Instead, it was a vast torrent of great Tao. Every great Tao turned into an attack that was comparable to a peerless expert. Although the Mount Shumi was strong and could be considered as a half-step honorable, it was still like an ant in front of the eye of the heavenly Tao. In an instant, countless terrifying cracks were densely distributed on the Mount Shumi. They spread out in all directions at a speed visible to the naked eye. Like a spider web, they completely covered the entire Mount Shumi. Rumble! In the eye of the heavenly Tao, 9 heavenly pillars of the great Tao descended and covered the entire Mount Shumi. At the moment of impact, the entire Mount Shumi let out a terrifying roar. Suddenly, the vast Mount Shumi crumbled under the eye of the heavenly Tao. It turned into billions of fragments and shot out in all directions. The destructive power covered an area of millions of miles. In this area, everything, including mountains, was turned into dust. Look, it's the Heavenly Emperor's chariot. It's the Shifter Emperor. The Shifter Emperor has finally appeared. However, this time, those bald donkeys must be regretting their guts out. A good Mount Shumi actually became a sacrifice to protect the Shifter Emperor from the heavenly tribulation. They reap what they sow. Why are the Shifter Emperor's eyes closed? Doesn't he know that he is going through the heavenly tribulation? The most domineering and terrifying eye of the heavenly Tao since the beginning of time? Once the Mount Shumi crumbled, the countless spatial faults within naturally collapsed as well. The Celestial Emperor's chariot, which was originally in the Mount Shumi, suddenly appeared before everyone's eyes. However, Di Shirtian's appearance made all the mighty figures secretly suspicious. They did not understand why he would close his eyes at this time. Rumble! Rumble! A cold glint flashed across the eye of the heavenly Tao. When it saw Di Shirtian on the Celestial Emperor's chariot, the surrounding heaven and earth essence chi poured into the divine eye at an even more violent speed. Without even thinking, 3 thick heavenly pillars of the great Tao shot towards the chariot at an alarming speed. Among the 3 heavenly pillars, one had various types of lightning flashing and brewing. One had blood-red killing intent. The last one had countless weapons and whistled unstoppably. Roar! 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 The 9 primordial fierce dragons saw Di Shirtian, who was standing in the chariot without any reaction. A determined look appeared in their eyes, and at the same time, they let out a terrifying dragon roar. Dazzling divine light burst out from their bodies. The vast draconic might was like a mountain or prison. It filled every inch of the void. Even the essence chi was eroded and turned into the shape of a dragon. The 9 primordial powers of heaven and earth exploded from their bodies. In an instant, they seemed to have merged perfectly with the surrounding heaven and earth, making the surroundings seem like an independent heaven and earth. They directly used their own primordial powers to explode with monstrous power. The heavenly tribulation had begun. No essence chi in the world could be borrowed. It was as if there was a strong repulsive force in that instant. The 9 dragons rose into the air. In the blink of an eye, they appeared above the chariot. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1051. It's finally over. I can't take it anymore. My head is spinning. After fighting side by side, the primordial 9 dragons had already regarded Di Shirtian as their master. Only by following him could they enjoy the thrill and fun of fighting. At this critical moment of overcoming the karmic tribulation of the heavens and the earth, how could they allow their master to be struck and remain indifferent? They didn't even give it a second thought, nor did they consider the consequences at all as they soared up successively. Roar! Roar! The 9 primordial dragons circled above the war chariot and let out heaven-shaking dragon roars that could shatter the heavens. Their sharp dragon eyes shone with an intimidating light, and their bodies shone with a dazzling divine radiance. Instinctively, the 9 dragons circled around the celestial emperor's war chariot and gathered together in a strange trajectory. Suddenly, the 9-colored divine light shone brightly. In the divine light, a huge millstone with a radius of tens of thousands of feet appeared out of thin air around the war chariot. It exuded a vast dragon's might. This millstone emitted a 9-colored divine radiance. On its surface, there were countless mysterious dragon runes. On the edge of the millstone, the figures of 9 primordial fierce dragons appeared. They were vivid and lifelike. They swam clockwise as if they were alive. Along with them, the entire millstone also slowly rotated clockwise. The celestial emperor's war chariot was wrapped in the millstone and protected by the world-annihilating dragon coiling millstone. The millstone naturally exuded an ancient will to destroy the world. In the sky above the millstone, there were divine dragons that were dancing continuously. Clouds and mist were spat out. Rumble! The millstone appeared above the celestial emperor's war chariot and collided with the 3 domineering pillars of the great path. Suddenly, the world-annihilating millstone exuded a supreme power that could destroy the world. The primordial 9 dragons swam violently and spun rapidly. As they spun, countless world-annihilating thunderbolts, destructive storms, and world-cleansing divine flames emerged from the millstone. Earth, fire, water, wind, poison, black ice, and so on. Countless world-annihilating disasters gushed out from the millstone like a tidal wave. The surrounding void was crushed into powder inch by inch. The 3 heavenly pillars of the great path slammed into the millstone. Although the millstone trembled continuously, as the millstone spun, countless apocalyptic disasters erupted and actually ground the 3 heavenly pillars into pieces. The world-annihilating dragon formation. According to the legends of the primordial 9 dragons, they were born with a supreme inheritance. It is one of the most terrifying formations in the world. I wonder if it can withstand the attack of the heavenly Tao. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, who would believe that the immemorial 9 dragons would recognize a master? Even the peerless experts couldn't help but feel dumbfounded. They felt that nothing that happened to the demon emperor was something that ordinary people couldn't predict. Each and every one of them did not even blink as they stared at the scene before them, afraid that they would miss a single scene. That would be a lifelong regret. Boom, boom, boom. When the eye of the heavenly Tao saw that the pillar of the great way that it had sent out had actually been blocked by the obliteration millstone, a wisp of unfathomable fury actually surfaced in its ice-cold eyes. On the spot, the 9 heavenly pillars of the great path bombarded the millstone in a frenzy like an army of thousands of men and horses. Everywhere they passed, the void was constantly crushed and could not even heal. However, the obliteration millstone was equally overbearing. The millstone was filled with endless world-annihilating disasters. The 2 collided violently, and the heavenly pillars of the Great Way were crushed by the millstone. However, at the same time, the obliteration millstone was also constantly trembling. Every time it collided with the eye of the heavenly Tao, the divine light in the millstone would dim a little, and the power in the millstone would also be worn down a little. It's a pity that although the world-annihilating dragon formation formed by the immemorial 9 dragons is powerful, it is now the tribulation of heaven and earth. From the moment they helped the demon emperor, they could no longer absorb the essence chi of heaven and earth. They were rejected by heaven and earth. Every time they consumed a little of their essence chi, their combat strength would be weakened by a little. Under such circumstances, the obliteration millstone would not be able to withstand for too long. The know-it-all expert glanced at the scene before him and sighed inwardly. Countless experts were stuck at the stage of breaking through from eternal giant to unparalleled expert. In heaven and earth, It was not that there were no cultivators at the peak of Eternal Giant. In fact, there were probably some in every force, but they did not dare to make up their minds to prepare for the tribulation of heaven and earth. This was because once the tribulation of heaven and earth began, one could forget about absorbing the essence chi of heaven and earth in the entire origin source world. Under such circumstances, the tribulation of heaven was endless, but it was constantly being weakened. One could imagine how dangerous it was. In order to overcome it and become an unparalleled expert, one had to be an unparalleled genius. Rumble. Sure enough, the eye of the heavenly Tao only looked coldly at the obliteration millstone in front of it. The heavenly pillars collided violently with the millstone. Although the millstone also destroyed the heavenly pillars, the power of the millstone itself was being consumed at an astonishing speed. Your Majesty, we have done our best. From the obliteration millstone, there was an earth-shaking dragon roar. The light on the millstone had completely dimmed. Under the heavenly pillars again, it was smashed to pieces on the spot. Puff, puff, puff. The primordial 9 dragons fell from midair. Countless dragon scales on their bodies were smashed into pieces by the heavenly pillars. Their flesh and blood splattered everywhere, and large amounts of dragon blood continued to splatter. Mouthfuls of dragon blood spurted out. Their bodies fell around the chariot weakly. It seemed that they did not even have the strength to move their bodies. Rumble. The eye of the heavenly Tao sent down a few more heavenly pillars of the great Tao toward the celestial emperor's canopy. The power of the great Tao that erupted from the heavenly pillars caused the celestial emperor's canopy to tremble continuously. Faintly, it was showing signs of shattering. Anti-Ur is scared. Du looked at the heavenly pillars of the great Tao and felt an aura of death from them. She could not help but hug Di Ling nervously. Bang! As if it was an instinct, Di Shirtian's extreme emperor immortal body started to circulate crazily. In the blink of an eye, the indestructible divine rings were born from his flesh and blood. They quickly appeared outside his body and completely enveloped his emperor body within the divine rings. At the same time, he lifted his foot and left the celestial emperor's chariot. He appeared outside the chariot and waved his long sleeves. The celestial emperor's chariot, along with his children, sister, and Zixian, were all sent to the ghost emperor of Fengdu. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. Before anyone could even react, the chariot had already appeared in front of the ghost emperor of Fengdu. While doing all this, Di Shirtian's eyes were still closed. His mind did not fluctuate at all. It was as if his mind was still in the state of desire. This was actually an innate instinct. It was as if he did not want any harm to come to his children and family in the chariot. Brother Shirtian, don't worry. With me here, your celestial emperor's chariot will definitely not be touched by anyone. The ghost emperor of Fengdu only took one look and understood the meaning behind Di Shirtian sending the chariot over. Bang! A domineering heavenly pillar of the great path of metal fell from the eye of the god without any hesitation. It directly blasted towards Di Shirtian's head without any hesitation. Ding ding ding! Within the 10 indestructible divine rings, the indestructible holy spirits let out waves of heavenly sounds of desire. They flickered rapidly within the divine rings as if they were being protected by the holy spirits. However, the heavenly pillar of the great path was not a living being. It was not affected by desires at all. The heavenly pillar blasted heavily onto Di Shirtian's body. The great path of metal was sharp and indestructible. It was blasted out by the eye of the heavenly Tao. Wherever it passed, it smashed onto the indestructible divine rings. Suddenly, one could clearly see that the indestructible divine rings were bursting with an incomparably domineering force. They blocked the heavenly pillar. As they spun, they seemed to want to destroy the heavenly pillar. However, the heavenly pillar was also extremely domineering. The indestructible divine rings only blocked for a moment. The 10th divine ring was blasted into pieces on the spot. Immediately after, it blasted onto the next divine ring. There was an intense collision. Each divine ring was continuously wearing down the power of the heavenly pillar. When the heavenly pillar broke the fifth divine ring, it was directly shattered by the sixth indestructible divine ring. When the heavenly pillar broke, the indestructible divine rings that had been destroyed immediately regenerated from his flesh at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, he had completely recovered. The 10 indestructible divine rings once again enveloped his body. With the extreme Emperor talisman as the source of power, the power was endless. Naturally, the divine rings were endless and difficult to destroy. What a domineering protective divine technique! Even the heavenly pillar of the Great Path could not completely destroy the defense of the divine rings. The divine rings are endless. Perhaps they can block the attack of the heavenly tribulation. When many powerful cultivators saw the 10 purple-gold indestructible divine rings, their eyes shone with a strong desire. Such a strong defensive divine technique was simply unheard of. Rumble! The eye of the heavenly Tao did not have any emotions. However, immediately, 4 heavenly pillars of the Great Path descended and blasted down. Bang bang bang! Each heavenly pillar was comparable to a powerful cultivator. When they attacked at the same time, the indestructible divine rings outside Yi Futian's body were instantly destroyed at an astonishing speed. Almost without any hesitation, the 10 divine rings were completely destroyed. After the divine rings were destroyed, the heavenly pillars, which seemed a little dim, blasted onto Di Shirtian's body without any obstruction. Rumble, rumble, rumble! The domineering heavenly pillars smashed onto Yi Futian's body. Immediately, one could clearly see that under his skin, the 129,600 extreme Emperor talismans burst forth with vast power. The explosive power made his demonic body unbelievably strong. Unbelievable! Is this the supreme physical body that one can only obtain after using strength to prove one's Tao? It can actually form its own body with endless power. Even the heavenly pillars of the Great Path could not break his body. I'm afraid that even an ordinary connate spiritual treasure would not be able to break his defense. Using strength to prove one's Tao and achieve a supreme physical body. Every inch of flesh is indestructible and difficult to damage. Can the demon emperor really withstand the attack of the eye of the heavenly Tao? Di Shirtian's physical body once again shocked the powerful cultivators. The shock in their hearts was almost unimaginable. Even connate spiritual treasures could not tear it apart. This was the power of using strength to prove one's Tao. Whoosh! At this moment, a pitch-black heavenly pillar of the Great Path descended from the eye of the heavenly Tao. The heavenly pillar was filled with a strange aura. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1052. That's the demonic heart Tao. The demon lord had appeared in the heavenly realm at some point in time. He couldn't help but frown as he looked at the heavenly pillar of the great Tao. His pupils constricted as he muttered to himself. In the pitch-black heavenly pillar, one could clearly see that there were many women in black who were wearing a thin veil. Their figures were curvy where they should be and curvy where they should be. There was not a trace of excess fat on their bodies. The mysterious forbidden area was faintly discernible under the thin veil. It was filled with a mysterious allure that made people unconsciously attracted to it, causing their blood to boil. Lust grew. It danced in a demonic dance full of charm. There were also countless riches, magical treasures, divine abilities, cultivation methods, and monstrous authority that appeared one after another. It seemed to be filled with all the temptations of the world. All kinds of scenes that countless beings yearned for were rolling out one by one. Whoosh! As soon as the pitch-black heavenly pillar of the demonic heart Tao appeared, it fell on Di Shirtian without hesitation. The eye of the heavenly Tao clearly wanted to directly attack his mind and erode his divine soul. As expected, the demonic heart Tao was invisible and formless. When it fell on Di Shirtian's body, the 10 divine rings of indestructible didn't pose much of an obstacle to the heavenly pillar. They easily passed through the heavenly pillar and rushed into the Emperor's body in one fell swoop. Demon Emperor, do you want the most beautiful girl in the world? Do you want the most supreme power in the world? Do you want the endless treasures of the heavens and earth? Do you want uncountable wealth? Hurry, hurry and throw it in. You will be the master of the world. The demonic heart Tao directly rushed into Di Shirtian's emperor's body. The moment it entered, countless demonic voices filled with temptation crazily reverberated in his mind and even in the Shifter Palace. All kinds of demonic heart scenes constantly magnified the temptation. Inner demons give birth to desires, and desires are controlled by the lunatic D. The 11th grade Black Lotus is the root of all evil. How can this inner demon Tao affect the lunatic D's mind? Ming couldn't help but cry out in disdain as she watched the boundless inner demons wreaking havoc in Di Shirtian's body. Any desire could only become nourishment in Di Shirtian's body, so how could it affect his mind? Moreover, his entire mind had been thrown into the realm of desire. The eye of the heavenly Tao's attack was clearly a miscalculation. Rumble? Sure enough, as soon as the demonic heart Tao appeared in his body, the sharp senses of the 11th rank Black Lotus immediately sensed countless mysterious heavenly sounds of desire within the Black Lotus. It emitted dense divine light, and the Black Lotus spun at an unbelievable speed by several dozen times, or even over 100 times. It emitted a boundless devouring force. It swept through the entire Emperor's body. All the black inner demon chi flowing in his body was unable to resist the source of all evil that came from the same source. Without any accident, it was continuously drawn into the Black Lotus. As the Black Lotus rotated, it was completely swept away and quickly refined. Several mysterious runes appeared in the runes that were like a long black river on the Black Lotus. They were runes condensed from the demonic heart Tao and the most basic indestructible obsessions. They were power, wealth, red luan, heavenly luck, lost, and charm. Every curse seal possessed an extremely terrifying power. In the blink of an eye, they merged into the long river of runes and were branded on the 11th rank Black Lotus, causing the variety and number of runes to become even more abundant. These demonic heart Tao also had an invisible influence on Di Shirtian. Some of the inner demon chi drilled into the realm of desire in the 11th rank area. It strangely caused a trace of strange anxiety in the entire realm of desire. Just like a small butterfly, a gentle flap of its wings could instantly cause a terrifying tornado. This time, the inner demon chi that inexplicably swept over also caused an immeasurable change in the realm of desire. In the realm of desire, Di Shirtian, who was originally wandering in the imperial garden with a frown, paced back and forth, secretly thinking about how to solve the various difficulties that the court was currently facing. Suddenly, in the depths of his mind, there seemed to be a sharp light flashing quickly. In the spring of the 4th year of the Qin calendar, Ting Zijing was banished to Bailing County. The next year, when the government was smooth and the people were harmonious, 100 things were done. It was to rebuild Yeyang Tower, add to its old system, and carve Tang Xian's poems on it. It was to be recorded in the composition. Lung Fu. What was the harm in seeking the benevolent heart of the ancient people, or the difference between the two? Don't be pleased by external gains, don't be grieved by personal gain. High up in the court, worry about the people. Far away in the Jianghu, worry about the monarch. It was to be anxious to advance and anxious to retreat. But when would one be happy? It must be said, worry about the worries of the world first, and enjoy the pleasures of the world later. People of Wei Si, who will I return to? The way of the emperor lies in the light, in the heart. Be close to the virtuous ministers, stay away from the vile ones, reform the governance, promote the new and abolish the old, select the virtuous and don't stick to one pattern. 2 inexplicable essays quickly appeared in his mind. Every word was like a gem containing boundless principles. One would need to read them 100 times, or even 1,000 times, to understand their essence. In almost an instant, de Chertion felt as if the clouds had parted to reveal the moon. One essay could be said to be the model of the way of the emperor, the quintessence of the way of the emperor. Worry about the worries of the world first, and enjoy the pleasures of the world later. Worry cannot solve problems. Only by understanding what one needs to do and how one should do it can one's goal. Good, good, good. So that's how it is. The way of the emperor. This is the true way of the emperor. The way of the emperor within is broad and profound, worthy of a lifetime for any emperor to comprehend. I finally get it. These 2 articles almost instantly caused Sakra to completely wake up from his boundless worries. In his mind, various thoughts flowed like spring water. Without the slightest hesitation, he began to reform the imperial court. He promoted the virtuous, kept away the vile, reorganized the military, and held on to the military. He didn't stick to one pattern, nor did he care about status. He reformed the Bureau of Appointments, and made punishments more clear. The atmosphere of the imperial court was changing at an astonishing speed. Outside, he was attacking the enemy. Inside, he was enforcing the law. The imperial court was filled with new vitality. The scene in the realm of desire was constantly changing for the better. Rumble! Outside, the eye of heavenly Tao had also completely unleashed its power. Pillars of great Tao bombarded Sakra from the divine eye one after another. The great Tao of gold, great Tao of weapons, great Tao of thunder, great Tao of fire, great Tao of ice, great Tao of evil, great Tao of earth, great Tao of stone, great Tao of sword, and so on. The domineering pillars of the great path rained down, covering de Chertion completely. Under the countless attacks, the 10 immortal divine rings were shattered at every moment. All sorts of attacks rained down on his body like a tidal wave. Countless ultimate emperor talismans emitted heavenly sounds, spewing out endless power that poured into every inch of his flesh. The defense of his emperor body reached an unbelievable level. Crack! Countless weapons slashed his body, and countless lightning bolts exploded with destructive power. All sorts of great paths turned into terrifying disasters and exploded at the same time. It could be said that a few, or even a dozen, unparalleled experts bombarded his body at the same time. Even though de Chertion had proven his Tao through strength, and the strength of his body had reached a level where he could break free from the rules of heaven and earth, still, it was inevitable that wounds would appear. Under the various attacks, the entire emperor body emitted terrifying tearing sound. Hideous cracks appeared densely all over his body. Purple gold blood continued to spurt out, dyeing the surrounding void red. Every drop of blood contained terrifying power. When it landed on the ground, it directly penetrated a large mountain and caused it to collapse. It looked extremely miserable. The attacks mobilized by the eye of heavenly Tao were too terrifying. De Chertion was just standing in midair, motionless, and did not even counterattack. He was a live target. One could imagine how powerful the attacks were. If it were not for de Chertion's emperor body, which had reached an unbelievable level, even an unparalleled expert would have been blasted to pieces. What is the shifter emperor doing? He is actually not resisting the eye of heavenly Tao's attacks. If this continues, I'm afraid he won't be able to hold on for long. What a terrifying physical body. Look, the healing speed of those wounds is so terrifying. He is indeed a terrifying existence who proved his Tao through strength. On de Chertion's body, the large and small wounds that were densely distributed all over his body were healing at an astonishing speed. In just a few breaths, they had completely healed, leaving not a single scar. It was as if he had not been severely injured at all. Such a physical body could almost be called immortal and indestructible. However, how could the eye of heavenly Tao watch Di Shirtian withstand the attacks like this? Immediately, dozens of pillars of the great Tao poured down and gathered together, bursting out an even more terrifying attack. The surrounding heaven and earth were constantly crushing him. There was no yuan qi of heaven and earth that could be used by him. Ding ding ding! However, just as the eye of the heavenly Tao began to attack Sakra with all its might, waves of purple-gold-colored glaze appeared on his body. Every inch of his flesh and blood could be seen clearly, and it was spitting out a vast and mighty force. It emitted a strange heavenly sound. Boom boom boom. In the demon abode, there was a monstrous wave in the 11th stage Black Lotus that had been condensed to the point that it could not be any more condensed. The barrier that was originally separating the 11th stage region from the entire Black Lotus suddenly disappeared without a trace. The vast and boundless power of worry quickly merged with the Huangji true power in the Black Lotus. As the Black Lotus spun, it transformed into pure Huangji true power, completely filling the entire 11th stage Black Lotus without a trace of space. The desire of worry, without any resistance, drilled into the Black Lotus crazily. Boom boom boom. In the silent heavenly punishment world, countless indestructible obsessions began to fluctuate violently. All kinds of desires continuously surged into the Black Lotus. At the same time, one could clearly see that the 11 desires of happiness, anger, sorrow, fear, seeing, taste, fragrance, touch, will, hearing, and worry were no longer separated from the Black Lotus. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Qidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1053. I'm a little depressed. I haven't completely recovered from my cold and my nostrils are a little uncomfortable. It's a new week. 7 emotions. Sorrow, joy, fear, anger, worry, emotion, longing, shock. At this moment, sorrow, joy, fear, anger, and worry, the 5 emotions had all been completed in his body. Only 2 emotions remained. One was shock and the other was emotion. Each of them was an extremely dangerous desire. Shock, shock. When one was shocked to the extreme, even one's soul would be frightened to the point of dispersing. This was not just a saying. Emotion was even more terrifying. A snake's mouth was poisoned, and a wasp's tail was stung. Both were not poisonous. Only lovesickness was the most hurtful. The word emotion could make all living beings go crazy, 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 and even die for it. No one could truly control the changes and beauty of the word emotion. Unparalleled experts and even rulers could not describe it clearly. There were many who did all kinds of crazy things for the word emotion. It happened almost every day. And the word emotion was the most moving. It could dry up the sea and make rocks rot. Lust was even more irresistible. At this moment, when all the power of worry in the Black Lotus had been integrated and refined into the royal true power, waves of domineering and ferocious true power spewed out from the Black Lotus and rushed directly into his body. Everywhere it passed, it nourished his flesh and blood. Like an angry divine tiger, it charged domineeringly towards the 12th demon vein. Rumble! The silent collision exploded violently in his body. The royal true power was boundless and had the domineering emperor's way. It blasted open the 12th demon vein's barrier. It attacked the demon vein without restraint. And a strange devouring power was also produced in the Black Lotus. It constantly drew the power of desire into the Black Lotus. Now, the Black Lotus was shining with a demonic light, as if it had turned into the source of evil. In the virtual land of the heavenly punishment world, only 2 kinds of desire were not triggered. One was the power of shock, and the other was the power of emotion. However, in the face of the increasing devouring power of the Black Lotus and the opening of the 12th demon vein in his body, the demon vein of shock, The power of shock that had been hovering motionlessly rushed out and surged violently into the Black Lotus. Rumble! The Black Lotus shook violently, and the entire demon residence shook violently. It kept expanding outwards. When the Black Lotus received the power of fright, it immediately emitted a dazzling black divine light. Countless forces gathered in the divine light and devoured the power of fright. The divine light also disappeared in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, the Black Lotus had transformed. Haha, grade 12, finally a grade 12 Black Lotus. This is the most crucial step to becoming an ancient demon god. As long as it survives the heavenly tribulation, it will be able to produce immortal matter and integrate it into the Black Lotus primordial spirit. It will become an immortal primordial spirit and become a peerless expert. Dark let out a series of joyful shouts from the bottom of his heart. However, he also knew that although he had made a crucial breakthrough, he still needed to pass the heavenly tribulation and obtain an immortal soul before he could truly achieve the immortal soul. Seeing that the Black Lotus had already reached the 12th grade, every inch of the Black Lotus exuded a kind of crystalline feeling. In the 12th grade area, waves of power of shock continued to gather. At the same time, the space in the Black Lotus, which could accommodate the royal true force, also expanded by 100 times in an instant. The original royal true force only occupied 1% of the Black Lotus. It had to be said that if he wanted to take another step forward, he would need a terrifying amount of power. Rumble! Several heavenly pillars of the Great Path violently hit Di Shirtian's body, creating a terrifying roar. Countless lightning bolts covered his entire body, and his pitch-black hair stood on end. Whoosh! However, at this moment, Di Shirtian's tightly shut eyes suddenly opened without any warning. 2 rays of purple-gold light instantly shot out, piercing 2 terrifying holes in the void in front of him. Boom! Sakra, who had opened his eyes, was like an awakened primal chaos beast. The aura that had been restrained within his body gushed out like a tidal wave. Every inch of his flesh was brimming with the aura of a supreme emperor. The 129,600 Supreme Emperor talismans on his body were vibrating at an astonishing frequency, flickering with resplendent divine splendor. They pierced through his body, and the immortal divine ring once again enveloped him. His emperor body shook violently, like a fierce beast that suddenly stood up, like a giant god that opened the sky, and violently collided with the heavenly pillars of the Great Path. That ferocious aura caused the surrounding void to crumble and shatter in an instant. The heavenly pillars also suffered the first explosion of divine power since Di Shirtian's body. They could not help but tremble violently, and hideous cracks appeared on the heavenly pillars. In an instant, the cracks spread rapidly across the entire heavenly pillar. In the blink of an eye, they covered the entire heavenly pillar. Then, as expected, they were shattered on the spot. Whoosh! 2 gazes directly swept towards the huge eye of the heavenly Tao in the sky. They didn't evade at all as they coldly looked at each other. Fierce sparks burst out from the eyes of the Sakra. The supreme aura of never bowing down and never lowering its head shot out from his eyes as it transformed into a will that shot out from his eyes. What shot out from the eye of the heavenly Tao was a will that looked down on everything in the world as if they were ants. It was a will that was powerful and domineering. These 2 wills could be said to be the strongest wills. When they collided, one could immediately clearly see that the void between the 2 was constantly collapsing, distorting, and completely destroyed under this invisible battle. Countless disasters constantly emerged, and the surrounding void was violently vibrating. It was as if it was about to be destroyed. It's Father. You knew that Father is the strongest, and he will definitely be fine. This time, when Father wakes up, he will definitely beat that eye blind. Diu's spirit was suddenly lifted. The moment she saw him open his eyes, she already knew that her father had already woken up. Brother will not lose. Di Ling was still very confident. Big Brother D is indeed powerful to be able to leave the realm of desire so quickly, and even dare to forcefully fight against the eye of the heavenly Tao. It seems like Sister's vision is still as accurate as before. Zixian muttered to herself thoughtfully as she looked at the scene in front of her with shining eyes. Good fellow, the Demon Emperor is finally going to fight back. What a domineering Demon Emperor, what a domineering body. He actually used his Emperor's body to shatter the heavenly pillar. Is this the strength of using strength to prove one's Tao? The surrounding peerless experts' hearts skipped a beat, and they became even more nervous as they watched the development in front of them. Brother Shirtian really doesn't look like he will die young. Once he passes the heavenly calamity, he will definitely have a bright future. He will be unstoppable. The Fengdu Ghost Emperor nodded secretly and said with relief, "My goodness, this is really going to break the heavens. Even the eye of the heavenly Tao has appeared. The battle between the Demon Emperor and the eye of the heavenly Tao will definitely be extremely tragic. I just don't know who will win and who will lose." The Demon Emperor's heavenly Emperor chariot has already been sent out. I'm afraid it will be a little difficult for him to fight against the heavenly Tao alone. Nothing is absolute. Miracles have happened to the Demon Emperor before. No one can be sure that their guess is right until the end. It's as if the Demon Emperor's fate is filled with inexplicable variables at every moment. The All Heavens cultivators witnessed the scene in the heavenly realm. Although the pressure emitted from the eye of the heavenly Tao made them involuntarily kneel down, and their bodies were drenched in cold sweat, they still watched the development and outcome of the matter with great interest. It was not surprising that some discussions quickly spread out. Eye of the heavenly Tao? Punishment on behalf of the heavens? However, the life of I D Shirtian is not up to you to decide. I D Shirtian am standing right here today. If you have the eye of the heavenly Tao, come and take it. If you can't take it away, this emperor will beat you to death. D Shirtian woke up from his state of lust and successfully cultivated the Book of Imperial Shocking World to the 12th volume. His strength and blood chi instantly surged. Although he hadn't condensed the immortal primordial spirit, he was already half-step immortal. Coupled with his strong physical body, his battle strength almost instantly increased by 5 times. Even in the face of the eye of the heavenly Tao, he didn't have the slightest intention of bowing his head. He didn't hold back and issued a declaration of war. He wanted to fight for his life with the heavens. He wanted to fight against the heavens. Rumble. What kind of existence was the eye of the heavenly Tao? How could its majesty tolerate the slightest provocation? As soon as it sensed D. Shirtian's actions, its cold eyes immediately revealed a look of anger. Countless divine lights flashed continuously in the divine eye, wantonly devouring the boundless vital chi in the surroundings and gathering it into the divine eye. It was accumulating power to kill D. Shirtian in one blow. In the blink of an eye, one could clearly see that different pillars of the great path madly fell from the divine eye like raindrop. Moreover, these pillars of the great path didn't attack directly like before. Instead, after they appeared, they wantonly devoured the boundless vital chi and swept it into the pillars of the great path, causing them to constantly shrink and condense. They turned into solid battle spears. On the battle spears there were countless mysterious Tao inscriptions. Each spear contained a domineering power that could destroy the heavens and the earth. Each spear was in harmony with the heavens and the earth, fusing with the pure power of the great path. Buzz. The battle spears only trembled slightly, and the space around the battle spears was like tofu, easily shattering into pieces. The strength of the attack was more than 10 times stronger than the great path pillars of the heavenly Tao from before. Almost 100 great path battle spears appeared in the void. Boom, boom, boom. An icy blue ice battle spear instantly pierced through the air. Wherever it passed, the space shattered. The shattered space was strangely covered in ice and sealed in ice. In the blink of an eye, it appeared in front of D. Shirtian. Clang! The tiger's soul on his back was already on the slender hilt. Unknowingly, his right hand was already holding it. With a twist of his wrist, the tiger's soul was unsheathed amidst the crisp sound of the blade. The golden blade exuded the nobility that belonged to an emperor. The fishbone-like blade inscriptions constantly rippled. With a swing of the tiger's soul, a brilliant arc of light was drawn in mid-air. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1054. Roar! When the tiger's soul was unsheathed, a resounding tiger roar came from the saber. Vaguely, a golden divine tiger appeared in the air, giving off an overflowing tyrannical aura. With just one glance, one would feel an irresistible feeling, as if one's mind would be shaken by it. Domineering, fast, ruthless, precise. There were no flaws in this blade. Everywhere it passed, a dazzling blade wheel appeared in the void, and the afterimage of the blade remained in the air, as if it was real. Rumble! Clang! Tiger's soul instantly collided with the icy blue ice battle spear, and the blade slashed right in the middle of the battle spear. Crack! With a crisp sound, the battle spear was cut into two by the blade of Tiger's soul. However, when the battle spear was broken, the damaged battle spear exploded on the spot. The monstrous cold energy instantly turned into a snowstorm, covering De Chertion. In the blink of an eye, a thick layer of ice crystals formed on his body. On the ice crystals, mysterious ice runes appeared, making the ice crystals several times harder. Break! De Chertion, who was sealed in ice, had countless mysterious ultimate Emperor talismans on his imperial body. As the Emperor talismans spat out endless divine power, the muscles under his skin surged wildly in his body like vigorous dragons. His imperial body shook violently. A vast amount of divine power spewed out from the countless pores on his body. Bang! The ice crystals outside his body shattered on the spot, turning into countless fragments that shot out in all directions, causing cracks to appear in the void. The heavenly Tao can forget about taking my life. If I didn't prove my Tao through strength and have endless power, I might still be afraid of you. Today I will go against the will of the heavens. I will break your eye of the heavenly Tao. De Chertion's emperor flame soared to the sky. He was not afraid of the eye of the heavenly Tao that ordinary people feared. So what if you're the heavenly Tao? If you want to take my life, you must show me strength that can convince me. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if you're the heavenly Tao. The 12,000 feet tall imperial body stood proudly, exuding an indomitable emperor's aura. The domineering aura on his body went against the heavenly Tao's indifferent gaze. Bang! De Chertion lifted his foot and stepped towards the eye of the heavenly Tao. It was as if there was an invisible staircase beneath his feet. When his foot landed, the void beneath his feet was annihilated at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was a scene of great destruction, and his body rapidly moved towards the eye of the heavenly Tao. He wanted to destroy and shatter it. Within his body, in the heavenly punishment world, the saint spirits continuously sent out an endless stream of power. Their undying will transformed into a vast and boundless stream of connate origin energy that poured into De Chertion's body and into the spirit demon palace, supporting his strength to never run out. His inner world. The greatest use of his inner world was this moment. Under the confinement of heaven and earth, when one was unable to absorb any origin chi, it was the greatest support one could rely on to fight against heaven and earth. Tiger Soul's blade was pointed diagonally to the side. As De Chertion stepped into the void with his saber in tow, every step he took left a hideous and terrifying crack in the space beneath Tiger Soul. The crack was like an endless abyss that made one feel despair. The aura of the saber became even stronger. His black hair danced wildly behind his head, even though there was no wind. His body was filled with an indomitable and unstoppable emperor aura. Bang! 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 With every step he took, the void beneath his feet trembled violently. Oh my God! The Spirit Demon Emperor's actions are not just to passively block the Eye of the Heavenly Tao's attacks and test it. He wants to fight the Eye of the Heavenly Tao head-on. Does he really not want to live anymore? That's the Eye of the Heavenly Tao. It represents the will of heaven and earth. Does he want to fight against the entire heaven and earth? Going against heaven and earth. In this world, only the Spirit Demon Emperor has such a monstrous spirit. Although the Eye of the Heavenly Tao does not borrow the power of the entire origin world, it is still not something an ordinary peerless expert can fight against. The group of cultivators only felt that their thoughts had been completely overturned. This was something that had never happened since the birth of heaven and earth. There was actually a cultivator who dared to fight against heaven so brazenly. Rumble! In the void, the Eye of Heavenly Tao that was hanging in the sky was completely enraged by Sakra's treacherous actions. In the surrounding tribulation clouds, countless terrifying thunderbolts flickered crazily, emitting a terrifying roar on behalf of the Heavenly Tao. Beams of dazzling divine light flashed rapidly in the Eye of the Heavenly Tao. Boom! 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 The Eye of the Heavenly Tao also reacted violently in an instant. The great Tao battle spears that were condensed below all flashed with dazzling divine light and attacked at the same time. Moreover, this was not an ordinary attack. Accompanying the battle spears was an incredible peerless battle technique. A lightning battle spear slashed through the air, and 3,000 terrifying tribulation eyes condensed in the battle spear. This was the legendary supreme battle technique of the great Tao of lightning, fury of the heavenly thunder. 9 dragons spiraled in the true dragon battle spear, and billions of divine dragons swarmed out. This was the terrifying battle technique of the Tao of Dragon, leaderless dragons. All kinds of battle spears condensed from the great Tao fiercely attacked Di Shirtian. If heaven stops me, heaven will also be punished. Kill! Sakra wasn't afraid at all. Looking at the hundreds of millions of true dragons that were charging towards him first, he flicked his wrist and swung the tiger soul forward. A resplendent blade wheel was drawn in front of him, forming countless afterimages of the tiger's soul. Each afterimage contained a mighty force that could cut through the void, forming a circle of purgatory of death around him. All the true dragons whizzed over and landed on the saber wheel. They were immediately cut into billions of pieces and ground to dust. Bang! 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 His footsteps did not stop, and he continued to charge toward the Eye of the Heavenly Tao. Every step he took brought with him a tragic aura. Everywhere he passed, billions of true dragons were killed. When he reached the true dragon battle spear, Tiger Soul slashed the battle spear into halves. Boom! The fury of the heavenly thunder carried with it an astonishing power. It instantly locked on to his body and slammed heavily on the eternal divine ring around him. In the battle spear, 3,000 different lightning tribulation divine lights shot out at the same time. The 10 divine rings were shattered on the spot, and the battle spear carried with it boundless fury of the heavens as it stabbed toward his chest. Clang! Tiger Soul turned, and the wide saber blocked the front of the lightning battle spear. However, the Emperor's body was still blasted back by the power of the battle spear. Crack! Di Shirtian instantly reached out with his left hand and grabbed the lightning battle spear. He forcefully threw the battle spear toward the Eye of the Heavenly Tao. The battle spear turned into a stream of light that broke through the void. It was like an arrow shot by a god, and it was unstoppable as it shot toward the Eye of the Heavenly Tao. It collided violently with the great Tao battle spear in front of the Eye of the Heavenly Tao. Boom! 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 It took a total of 10 battle spears to block the lightning battle spear that was thrown out, and they were all destroyed at the same time. They disappeared. Roar! Di Shirtian swung his saber forward again. In Tiger Soul, an incomparably huge Taotai appeared out of thin air. It opened its huge bloody mouth, and emitted an endless devouring power. It actually swallowed the dozens of great Tao battle spears in front of it in one fell swoop. Extreme Emperor Wei, devourer of the Taotai. Heavenly Tao, if you block my path, I'll kill you. Even if you have 3,000 great Taos, don't think you can stop me. Di Shirtian's Emperor flame burned brighter and brighter. He coldly spat out a sentence from his mouth. 100,000 feet. 800,000 feet. 600,000 feet. Di Shirtian was rapidly approaching the eye of the heavenly Tao. Using strength to prove his Tao, condensing the Extreme Emperor talisman, and the Extreme Emperor shocking the World Book in his body broke through again, reaching the 12th stage Black Lotus realm. His battle strength was so strong that it could be said that he was comparable to a peak-level expert. His might was unstoppable. It seemed that with every step he took, the great Tao battle spears in front of him would be broken. He was invincible. The peerless battle techniques of the Extreme Emperor Wei were used consecutively. Devourer of the Taotai, Death of the Gods and Devils, Emperor's Wrath, and so on. Every strike was enough to shock the world. Even the eye of the heavenly Tao couldn't hide Di Shirtian's monstrous Emperor aura. Swoosh! However, the eye of the heavenly Tao wasn't easy to deal with. Seeing Di Shirtian's fearless and invincible figure, the anger of having his dignity challenged was brewing wildly in his eyes. From Di Shirtian's body, he felt a huge threat. Rumble! Without holding back, an invisible crystal-like pillar of the great Tao instantly burst out from the eye of the heavenly Tao. There seemed to be an indescribable aura in that pillar. It was impossible to see through it. It was as if countless vicissitudes of life were flowing inside. Vaguely, one could see the traces of countless years flowing inside. The fragments of time were flickering. In every instant, countless years passed quietly. It was as if in that instant, heaven and earth were completely frozen and became eternal. My God, that's the great Tao of time. Legend has it that it's one of the 10 most mysterious great Taos in the world. The mysteries of eternity and instant are contained within it. It's the most powerful great Tao. Until now, no one has been able to truly control it. The eye of the heavenly Tao really wants to kill Di Shirtian. With the power of the great Tao of time, I'm afraid the Shifter Emperor will be in danger this time. I wonder if he can really go against the heavens. Many peerless experts couldn't help but gasp. They were secretly surprised and admired Di Shirtian's ability to cause trouble. They didn't want to miss any moment. Rumble! With the arrival of the great Tao of time, another great Tao that reached the heavens appeared. In this great Tao, it was as if countless spaces were constantly being born and destroyed. It was as if there were countless spaces contained within. It carried the aura of endless space. It was the great Tao of space. 2 great Taos appeared. An astonishing change appeared in front of him. Under the inexplicable power, the great Tao of space quickly condensed into a silver-white battle bow, and the great Tao of time turned into a crystal arrow. This was an arrow of time. The battle bow was pulled into a full moon, and the arrow of time instantly appeared on the battle bow. The tip of the arrow was pointed at Di Shirtian. Oh no! In an instant, a strong aura of death emerged in Di Shirtian's heart. Chapter 1055. Those with tickets, please help me up. The great Tao of spacetime was the bow, and the great Tao of time was the arrow. This bow and arrow could be said to be the most domineering bow and arrow in the world. It could shoot the sun and moon from afar, and kill gods and demons from close range. The heavens split. Even the surrounding peerless experts felt a chill in their hearts at this moment. It was as if there was a chill directly rushing from the soles of their feet to their heads. The combination of time and space was the most terrifying power. Back then, the spacetime gate could directly send Di Shirtian back to the ancient heaven-toppling battlefield. One could already imagine how domineering and terrifying the power produced by the combination of time and space would be. Time and space. This arrow will be the most dazzling arrow in the world. The shifter emperor has really angered the eye of the heavenly Tao. This time, he is doomed. It's a pity that a peerless genius like him has not truly reached the peak, and may die on the spot. Many great divine ability experts sighed in their hearts. Even if the terrifying sword of the 5 decay of the heavens was still hanging above their heads, once it fell, it would be the moment of their Tao disintegration. Not good, crazy emperor, you can't take this arrow. The combination of time and space erupts with power that no one can withstand. Quickly think of a way to dodge this arrow. Ming's eyes instantly widened and he roared crazily. He also felt the suffocating feeling of death, and truly experienced the fear of death. Whoosh! The bow of spacetime and the arrow of time did not stop because of anyone's shock and fear. From the eye of the heavenly Tao, endless power was poured into it. A crisp sound of a string breaking through the void was heard, and without any warning, it broke through the void and broke through the void at an incredible speed towards Di Shirtian's heart. Di Shirtian felt an intense stabbing pain in front of his heart. Even if the arrow did not reach his heart, it still split open a wound in front of his heart, and a drop of purple gold emperor blood seeped out. At the same time, there was a sign that the divine arrow had completely locked onto him. No matter how fast he was, he could not escape the pursuit of the divine arrow. Moreover, it could be seen clearly. Wherever the arrow of time passed, mysterious ripples would appear. Within these ripples, the arrow's speed seemed to have reached an unimaginable level, as if it was even faster than time. No divine eye would be able to capture its true trajectory. An instant is an eternity is an instant. Time rewound, time fast-forwarded, time flew and time stood still. 1 second in the outside world, while the divine arrow could fly for 10 seconds, 100 seconds, or even 1,000 seconds. The flying speed of the arrow would be pushed to an unparalleled level. In the outside world, the speed of the arrow would be extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, the arrow of time appeared in front of Di Shirtian. Rumble! Tautai seal, seal of life and death, seal of the emperor, seal of gods and demons, seal of bliss, Xing He's circling, one hand holding up the heavens, splitting heaven and earth, 5 fingers forming mountains. No matter how fast the divine arrow was, Di Shirtian still relied on his own instincts, and without hesitation, he unleashed all kinds of supreme techniques in front of him. However, the arrow of time was truly terrifying to the extreme. Wherever it passed, no attack could withstand it for even a moment before it was pierced through by the divine arrow, swept into the long river of time, and obliterated forever. To the outside world, these attacks didn't even last a second. The ice-cold tip of the arrow appeared in front of Di Shirtian's heart without any resistance. Puff! It seemed that all the mighty figures could imagine the scene of the divine arrow piercing through the heart in their minds. Daddy! Big brother! Husband! Your Majesty! Almost in an instant, cries of terror erupted at the same time. Chen Shi, and even the eyes of countless demons in the demon court seemed to be on the verge of tearing apart. Traces of blood flowed from their eyes. They screamed at the top of their lungs. Their voices were full of disbelief. However, the strange thing was that when the divine arrow was about to pierce Di Shirtian's heart, the mask on his face suddenly burst out with a brilliant purple-gold divine brilliance, completely covering his entire body. At the same time, one could clearly see that the entire emperor's body was strangely dissipating in mid-air at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was as if the entire body had completely turned into nothingness, turning into an illusion. It was as if it didn't exist at all. At the same time, where the emperor's body was standing, a crystal-like picture scroll unfolded out of thin air. In the picture scroll, there were all kinds of vivid and lifelike pictures of a fairyland. Clear rivers, lakes, undulating mountains, green trees, green grass, all kinds of flowers, trees, birds and beasts, the sun, the moon, and the stars all flashed clearly in the picture scroll. It was as if there was another perfect world in the picture scroll. An inconceivable heaven realm. Whoosh! When Di Shirtion turned into nothingness, the arrow of time collided with the picture scroll. Immediately, ripples like flowing water appeared on the picture scroll, producing a mysterious power in the picture scroll that swept the arrow of time into the picture scroll. At the same time, one could see that there was suddenly an additional divine arrow in the picture scroll, flying continuously in it. However, it did not break out of the picture scroll, as if there was no end to its journey. Even if the heavenly Tao blocks me, I will still kill it. Di Shirtion's figure, which had originally disappeared, suddenly appeared under the eye of the heavenly Tao. The tiger soul saber shone with a dazzling golden light as 3,000 gods and demons surrounded the saber. Countless amounts of energy from the heavenly punishment world were channeled into the bodies of the gods and demons, pushing their powers to their limit. They then entered the tiger soul once again. The aura of the tiger soul saber rose continuously at an astonishing speed. In midair, a brilliant arc of light flashed past. Crack! The tiger's soul carried boundless mighty power, and with unparalleled sharpness, it slashed at the eye of the heavenly Tao. Roar! A terrifying wail came from the eye of the heavenly path. It was like the howl of a supreme existence that had been severely injured. A sharp blade mark flashed in the huge 9-colored divine eye. A wound was cut open in the eye, and drops of 9-colored blood continuously seeped out from the wound. It dripped downwards. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops. In the blink of an eye, a total of 9 drops of blood had dripped down. It looked as if the eye of the heavenly Tao was shedding tears of blood. Blood of the heavenly Tao, lunatic D, quickly catch this blood of the heavenly Tao. Every drop of this blood contains incredible power, and is the most supreme treasure in the world. If it is integrated into the eye of the heavenly punishment divine eye, it may transform again and upgrade to the level of a primordial treasure. This is an unparalleled opportunity. Ming's eyes lit up, and without hesitation, he rushed out of the nether prison. A psychic jade box appeared in his dragon claw, and he quickly sucked the 9 drops of blood of the heavenly Tao into the jade box before anyone could react. Then, he returned to the nether prison and hugged the jade box tightly with joy. Large mouthfuls of blood flowed out of his mouth. Rumble! In the eye of the heavenly Tao, countless bolts of lightning flashed wildly, erupting with angry light, sweeping toward Di Shirtion. It was almost completely berserk, and the vast pressure caused the surrounding space to be destroyed crazily. It was enough to crush a great divine master to death. However, just as it was about to erupt, it swept across the mysterious scroll. The light in the divine eye shrank violently, and a trace of inexplicable fear flashed across it. There was also a complicated expression of hesitation, unwillingness, and anger that constantly flashed across the divine eye. In the end, there was a hint of unwillingness. The tribulation clouds around the divine eye quickly gathered in the middle. Vaguely, the eye of the heavenly Tao was about to disappear between heaven and earth, inexplicably retreating. It was as if it was really afraid of Di Shirtion. You want to leave? It's not that easy. Huangji creation palm, stealing the sky and sun. When Di Shirtion saw it, a cold and arrogant expression appeared on his face. He reached out and grabbed at the eye of the heavenly Tao. Roar! In the eye of the heavenly Tao, an angry and violent roar came out. It was so angry that it almost turned heaven and earth into nothingness. The originally hidden eye of the heavenly Tao actually drilled out again. It was as if it wanted to fight to the death with Di Shirtion again. However, it also seemed to have some kind of fear, and it only stared coldly at Di Shirtion for a long time. The unwillingness from just now disappeared in an instant. Haha, this is a big win. I actually stole such a big ball of heavenly Tao essence from the eye of the heavenly Tao. This is a supreme treasure. Once it is integrated into the demon court, it will immediately be able to quickly complete more than half of the 3,000 Great Tao in the Imperial Jade Archive. It will save a lot of effort and energy, and it can instantly promote the Demon Court to the peak of the supremacy level. This time it was really a good steal, a wonderful steal. What I stole was the Great Tao of heaven and earth. Ming was so happy that he couldn't even close his mouth. In Di Shirtian's hand, there was a 9-colored cloud. This cloud was abnormally sticky, and there seemed to be a supreme majesty circulating within it. It constantly flashed with the aura of various great Tao. It was as if the grab just now had stolen a part of the heavenly Tao essence from the eye of the heavenly Tao. The heavenly Tao contained 3,000 great Tao. If the essence was not the great Tao, then what was it? Just this alone was enough to make up for countless gains. Whoosh! Di Shirtian was also overjoyed. He stored the ball of heavenly Tao essence in the psychic jade box. At the same time, the tribulation cloud above his head dissipated silently. At the same time when the tribulation cloud dissipated, a chaotic divine light that penetrated the heaven and earth descended from the void without any warning. The speed was so fast that even Sakura couldn't dodge it. In an instant, he was enveloped in the light pillar. This is a reward from heaven and earth for passing the karmic calamity. It should be to help me form the immortal primordial spirit and condense the immortal substance in the Black Lotus primordial spirit. Di Shirtian had no intention of dodging. With just a thought, he understood that this was a reward for passing the karmic calamity of heaven and earth. Although he had broken through and the Black Lotus primordial spirit had transformed into the 12th grade, there was no immortal substance in the Black Lotus primordial spirit. Obviously, before this, it was not considered to have formed the immortal primordial spirit. Now it was time for the Great Tao. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1056. Whoosh! The chaotic divine light descended from the sky and shrouded Sakura's entire body in divine light. When the divine light shrouded his body, Sakura could clearly feel that there was a strange power in the divine light that continuously drilled into his body through his hundreds of millions of pores. It quickly followed the demon veins all over his body, entered the demon mansion, and drilled into the 12th grade Black Lotus. Wisp, wisp, wisp. As soon as it entered the Black Lotus, it immediately fused with the Black Lotus nascent spirit at an astonishing speed. Wisps of immortal substance appeared in the Black Lotus and constantly spread throughout the Black Lotus, causing the light on the Black Lotus to become even more mysterious and obscure, adding a mysterious tint to it. There seemed to be a kind of innate Tao aura that only innate spirit treasures would have. This was the process of the nascent spirit transforming into immortality. However, Di Shirtian did not sense these changes. The moment he was enveloped by the chaotic divine light, he inexplicably felt that the scenery in front of him changed, and his mind was pulled into an inexplicable place without any warning. This is the chaotic world. Sakura quickly scanned his surroundings. With a glance, he couldn't help but be slightly shocked. Every inch of the surrounding area was filled with violent chi that was constantly tumbling. Every wisp of it seemed as though it wanted to devour and assimilate all the living beings around it. In this world, there was no light, no water, and no time. There was not even the slightest sound of the passage of space. Countless gray gases intertwined and floated unsteadily. For some reason, these strange gases gave off a feeling that they were the origin of all things. However, this world was indeed like a world of death and stillness. Di Shirtian recognized that these gases were the legendary chaotic gas, and the vast and boundless world in front of him was the legendary chaotic world. He had once entered the chaotic world in ancient times. Although he did not stay for long, it did not hinder his understanding of the chaotic world. With just a glance, he could clearly identify where he was. No, the chaotic gas here is even more violent and domineering than what I saw in ancient times. Besides, I don't really exist here. It's like I've fallen into some sort of miraculous illusion. Sakra's thoughts turned quickly. He could feel his own condition and the scene in front of him. In a blink of an eye, he had already deduced that he was probably in a strange dreamland. He was like an outsider who was watching a dreamland. He couldn't interfere with the development of the dreamland at all. Could it be that? Suddenly, a thought flashed through his mind, and a trace of understanding flashed through his heart. He hurriedly looked around him. He saw that he was indeed in the boundless primal chaos world. However, in the center of the primal chaos world, there was a huge purple egg. The egg was oval in shape. Thump, thump. At a glance, it was impossible to tell how big the giant purple egg was. However, it seemed to have a life of its own. It was like a heart that was constantly beating rhythmically. It rose and fell continuously. Every time it rose and fell, a huge amount of chaotic gas poured into the egg. The egg was like a bottomless pit. It devoured the chaotic gas crazily, but the egg itself did not change in the slightest. As the egg absorbed the chaotic gas, the entire chaotic world did not change in the slightest. The chaotic gas was also endless. It was inexhaustible and inexhaustible. Countless mysterious talismans on the egg's surface flickered with divine light as the chaotic gas poured into it. It was ancient and mysterious. Boundless pressure spread out from the egg in all directions, almost suppressing the entire primal chaos. When Sakra stood in front of him, he felt incomparably tiny. It was as if an immeasurable divine object was being nurtured in the egg. This is the origin of the origin continent and the demonic god continent. Tian took a deep breath and stared unblinkingly at the purple egg before him. He had heard Ming say that when any expert became an unparalleled expert, heaven and earth would automatically bring them to the origin of heaven and earth to observe the birth and origin of heaven and earth. They would understand where heaven and earth came from. This was the mark of origin, the mark of opening the sky. Crack! In a region far away from the purple egg, a whirlpool suddenly appeared in a part of the chaotic world. In the whirlpool, one could vaguely see a supreme existence exuding an ancient aura. It was an ancient giant with muscles like dragons all over his body. He held a huge purple-gold divine axe in his hand. He slashed forward. A purple-gold axe light followed the whirlpool that split open in the chaotic world and broke through the air. It slashed towards the purple egg that was being nurtured in the chaotic world in an unstoppable manner. In the trajectory of the axe light, there was an inconceivable Taoist rhyme vaguely. It had the trajectory of opening the sky. The axe light cleaved the primal chaos into two halves and landed on the purple egg. As expected, the purple egg was cleaved into two halves. Primal chaos chi poured in and the two halves of the egg underwent a shocking transformation. They turned into two vast and boundless continents. However, the axe light split into two. The evil chi within it landed on one of the continents, while the other absorbed the boundless purple chi from the purple egg and turned into an ancient divine axe. It landed on the other continent and disappeared without a trace. Whoosh! Tian was like an outsider. He stood in the chaotic world and watched the changes of heaven and earth. A deep sense of shock emerged in his heart. When everything was over, a purple light shot out from the broken purple egg and instantly entered between his eyebrows. At the same time, his entire mind seemed to be pushed by a vast force. The scenery in front of him changed drastically. When he looked again, he was back in the ancient painting of heaven's toppling sky. Originally of the same origin, two become one, proving the Tao of eternity. When the purple light entered his mind, a mysterious sentence kept reverberating in his mind. I see. Tian understood and finally understood why the demon god continent was so reluctant to let go of the source continent. Rumble. However, he did not pursue this too much. He temporarily suppressed everything he saw in his mind and quickly checked the changes in his body. In the demon god residence, the 12th grade Black Lotus exuded a rich immortal aura. Every inch of the lotus emitted immortal light. I've finally achieved the immortal primordial spirit. Tion could feel that even if the 12th grade Black Lotus was smashed into thousands of pieces, even if only a tiny speck of dust was left, it could condense into a primordial spirit again and quickly recover. The immortal primordial spirit. Rebirth again. Moreover, the connection between the primordial spirit and the demon god body was even closer. As long as he thought about it, the power of the 12th grade Black Lotus would instantly appear in any part of his flesh and blood. Combined with his physical body, his combat strength increased by more than 10 times. Rumble! When the chaotic divine light disappeared, Tion clenched his right fist and casually threw a punch in front of him. Under the punch, a terrifying crack suddenly appeared. The void collapsed at a speed visible to the naked eye and erupted with a destructive force. The void was shattered. After attaining Tao through strength, I can already shatter the void with my bare hand. However, that requires me to exert my full strength. Now I can already shatter the void with just 10% of my combat strength. Attaining Tao twice is indeed incredible. At this moment, I already possess the combat strength of any unparalleled expert. Tion secretly experienced the monstrous power contained in his body. He quickly familiarized himself with his strength so that he could exert a powerful combat strength in a short period of time. Amateus Buddha and Demon Emperor attaining Tao is a cause for celebration. We congratulate you on behalf of Buddhism. Looking at the monstrous aura exuding from Tion's body, Mahavairakana and Chakravarti Buddha looked at each other at the same time. They knew that there was nothing they could do now and could not help but congratulate him. However, as they congratulated him, the two Buddhas had already turned into 2 rays of Buddha light and disappeared from the sky-toppling ancient painting. Their actions were so sudden that no one present could react in time. Humph! This bunch of bald donkeys are really fast. How despicable! Golden light flashed in Know-it-all's eyes. He spat at the 2 figures who were escaping in disgust and scolded them for being shameless. Your Majesty Shifter Emperor's attainment of the Tao is a blessing for our shifter race. Congratulations! After scolding Mahavairakana, Know-it-all turned to look at Sakura and congratulated him with cupped hands. Back in the ancient times, it was said that when we meet again after 10,000 years, I will definitely drink and chat with Brother Know-it-all. I will not thank you for your help this time. After this matter is over, there is a 10,000-year-old immortal wine hidden in the jade pool. I hope that Brother Fengdu will go with everyone. Tion looked at the familiar faces around him. A faint smile appeared on his face as he invited them. A smile appeared at the corner of Ghost Emperor Fengdu's mouth as he said, "Since Brother Tion has invited me, how can I not come? Since the Demon Emperor has invited me, I will naturally accompany you." Tian Yunzi, who had the demeanor of a transcendent being, replied casually, "I would also like to talk more with Sister Qinshi." The Elf Queen nodded naturally. The Demon Monarch nodded slightly. Looking around, the ancient Emperor, Black Demon Patriarch, Venerable Feng, and the others did not stop after witnessing Tion successfully passing the heavenly tribulation and attaining Tao for the second time. They did not stop for even a quarter of an hour and left as quickly as they could. How could anyone who could cultivate to become an unparalleled expert be a fool? They knew that the situation in front of them was impossible. Naturally, they would not risk their countless years of achievements to accomplish the impossible. Looking at the purple gold continent again, when Mahavairakana, the reincarnation Buddha, and the ancient emperor left, the heavenly cycle star map turned into a dazzling starlight and instantly broke through the sky. It disappeared in the blink of an eye as if it had never appeared. If it were not for the great Tao pillars that shot out from the demon court, they would still be able to see it clearly. they would probably mistake it for a dream. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Qidien. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1057. Throw in some tickets if you have one. This monstrous war seemed to have started as suddenly as it had started, and ended as suddenly as well. However, the impact it had on the entire universe was incomparable and immeasurable. Rumble. After breaking free from the heavenly cycle star map, the demon court immediately broke through the void and rushed into the heaven-toppling ancient map, instantly appearing in front of Di Shirtion and the others. Your subjects greet your majesty. Congratulations to your majesty for attaining the Tao for the second time and becoming an ancient demon god. In the demon court, because they were in the heavenly realm, they could not leave the demon court. However, they still knelt and bowed to Di Shirtion excitedly. Their sonorous and powerful shouts shook the heavens. One could clearly feel the joy and excitement of the subjects inside. The demon court's current strength was mostly built on Di Shirtion. Now, the stronger the demon emperor was, the stronger the demon court would be, and the stronger the deterrence to the universe would be. My dear subjects, please rise. The war is not over yet, so there's no need to celebrate. Let's wait for the 5 armies to wipe out the beasts before we celebrate. We'll pardon the world and celebrate together. Di Shirtion nodded and gestured for the subjects to rise. Thank you, Your Majesty. The subjects thanked him. Today is the day that the demon court transforms once again. The heavenly path essence Qi will be integrated into the Jade Archive and complete the great Tao. Demons will soar above the 9 heavens. Di Shirtion looked at the demon court and his eyes shone brightly. A light flashed in his hand, and the heaven-toppling jade box appeared. The jade box opened, and a huge ball of 9-colored heavenly path essence Qi broke out of the box. Go! The heavenly path essence Qi seemed to have a mind of its own. It kept jumping and faintly wanted to escape into the void. However, under Di Shirtion's finger, it seemed to have received some kind of inexplicable edict and involuntarily flew toward the demon court. Whoosh! As soon as the heavenly path essence Qi appeared in the demon court, it immediately disappeared into thin air. It entered the core space of the ancient city and came to the huge Ultimate Emperor Jade Archive. Ding ding ding! The Imperial Jade Archive seemed to be able to sense that the Qi in front of it was immensely beneficial to it. The 3,000 Great Path talismans in the Jade Archive burst forth with crisp and melodious sounds of the Great Path at the same time. The Jade Archive bloomed with divine light. Outside the Jade Archive, countless fairies formed and danced. All kinds of heavenly flowers floated wantonly. A strange fragrance wafted into his nose. Each talisman was like a hungry, ferocious beast, emitting boundless, devouring power. The Jade Archive began to spin at an unprecedented speed. He absorbed the entire ball of heavenly Tao essence into the Jade Archive. Strands of 9-colored essence Qi burrowed into the Jade Archive like silk. Every strand seemed to have a consciousness. As soon as it entered the Jade Archive, it quickly integrated into a talisman of the Great Path. Those talismans grew and perfected at an astonishing speed. Speed talismans, gravity talismans, deceleration talismans, giant spirit talismans, medicine god talismans, body talismans, martial talismans, magic talismans, heart demon talismans. The talismans were being perfected at an astonishing speed. With the infusion of the heavenly Tao essence, they instantly condensed into complete great Tao talismans at a speed visible to the naked eye. Originally, the talisman required a lot of energy, countless materials, and innumerable heavenly and earthly treasures to complete. But at this moment it was extremely easy. In almost every breath, a talisman was completed. Rumble! In the core space, the originally illusory Tao lotuses condensed into substantial Tao lotuses when the great Tao in the Jade Archive was perfected. Small worlds that were compatible with the great Tao opened up in the Tao lotuses. It gave birth to a mysterious Tao rhyme. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Traces of Tao seeped out of the Jade Archive and quickly merged with the entire demon court. Mysterious Tao patterns intertwined on every inch of the city, making the city even more condensed. Its connection with the purple-gold continent grew weaker and weaker, as if it could cut off its connection with the outside world at any moment. The divine crystals that formed the ancient city began to transform under the tempering of these great Taos. They transformed from high-grade divine crystals to supreme-grade divine crystals. Every inch of the city seemed to contain divine puppets born of the great Tao. Prayers rang out. In the blink of an eye, the demon court was drowned in divine light. This was a supreme opportunity. It was an opportunity that Di Shurtian had forcibly seized from the heavenly Tao. Of the 3,000 great Taos, not a single supreme treasure could compare to the eye of the heavenly Tao. It contained almost all of the great Taos, and the essence it stole was the quintessence of the 3,000 great Taos. The laws of the great Tao contained within were inconceivably dense. Hiss! The development of the events had left the all-heavens cultivators dumbfounded and shaken. However, the transformation of the Ling Shao demon court still shocked them to the extreme. This is happening way too quickly. Before, it was Mahavairakana and the reincarnated Buddha who were suppressing the demon emperor. Who could have guessed that the demon emperor would attract a heaven-defying tribulation and trigger the eye of the heavenly Tao? That was how the Buddhist scheme was crushed. That said, the almighty experts of the human race are running away way too quickly. How could they not be? If they had been even a bit slower, the demon emperor, who was now a demon god, would have unleashed his wrath. That would have led to a huge war that would have involved all of the almighty experts of the human race. When that happened, the demon folk and the humans would have fought to the death. Things would have gotten out of hand. The entire world would have been thrown into chaos. No one would want to see that happen. The demon emperor really is a freak of nature. I can't believe he dared to steal the eye of the heavenly Tao. With the heavenly Tao essence, the demon court will probably reach the peak paragon level. It'll be on par with the 10 supreme god items of the human race. It'll solidify the foundation for the immortal level. The benefits the demon folk will reap from this war are unimaginable. After all, they wiped out an imperial dynasty of the human race. The cultivators were all cheering inwardly, their eyes shining as they looked at the demon court. They knew full well that every complete great Tao was a great opportunity for the cultivators who cultivated there. It was much easier to comprehend the great Tao inside. It was much easier to advance. It was a holy land for cultivation. Rumble. In the Lingshao demon court, pillars of the great path continued to rise into the sky. They stood in the void as if they were supporting the entire sky. One after another, they appeared one after another. In the blink of an eye, 1,000 pillars had appeared. They towered in every corner of the ancient city. At the same time, the demon court was completely cut off from the outside world. The ancient city expanded nearly tenfold. As for the 129,600 spaces in the ancient city, they immediately began to expand and strengthen themselves. They also expanded nearly tenfold. Subsequently, the 1,000 grand Taos that stood there vanished one after another. The divine light that shrouded the ancient city retracted. No aura leaked out of the ancient city, as if it was just an ordinary ancient city. There was nothing special about it. But the demon folk and cultivators in the ancient city could clearly feel the shocking changes. What rich innate vital energy! The innate vital energy in the city is more than 10 times richer than before. I can feel the great Tao in the world that is compatible with my cultivation method. I can't believe I can break through my bottleneck so easily. This is the guidance of the great Tao between heaven and earth. Innate vital energy, different innate vital energy. This is great. It'll be easier for me to cultivate this way. the demon folk in the ancient city shouted excitedly. They could clearly feel the great changes brought to their bodies by this transformation. 1,000 grand daos. Lunatic D, this is an unprecedented harvest. If you want to complete these 1,000 grand daos with normal means, it will take you 1,000 years or even several thousand years. Yi Shiwen smiled. Now, with the support of these 1,000 great Dao, the demon court is stronger and more stable than any supreme divine artifact. Dark praised. It had seen with its own eyes how the demon court was built bit by bit and grew again. It had deep feelings for it. 1,000 great Dao, 1,000 Dao lotuses. 1/3 of the 3,000 great Dao has been condensed. Sakra was similarly overjoyed in his heart. This was a rare opportunity. Otherwise, unless the entire eye of the heavenly Tao was captured and refined into the ancient city, the 3,000 great Daos might be completely perfected. However, he was satisfied with this result. Brother Fengdu, brother know-it-all, why don't you go in with me? I'll entertain you well. Di Shirtian temporarily suppressed the joy in his heart and invited Fengdu Ghost Emperor and the others. I've long wanted to taste the immortal wine in the Demon Emperor's collection. Know-it-all's eyes lit up. How could he object? Fengdu Ghost Emperor and the others also nodded in agreement. Boom. Boom. Demon Emperor, wait! However, just as Di Shirtian, Fengdu Ghost Emperor, and the others were about to enter the demon court, a wild roar suddenly came from the void. That voice was abnormally loud, as if billions of thunderbolts suddenly sounded. It was so loud that everyone's ears were buzzing. There was a hint of urgency in that voice. Not far away, a few divine lights soared into the sky from the purple-gold continent and entered the heavenly realm. 3 figures appeared not far away from the demon court. These 3 figures were very strange. One of them was a behemoth wearing the skin of a demonic dragon and covered in golden fur. It revealed sharp beast claws and emitted the aura of a beast emperor. There was a golden battle axe on its back, and its every move was filled with supreme dominance and majesty. It was like a high and mighty god. One of them was a woman wearing a purple robe. She looked no different from an ordinary Taoist. However, her ears were purple fox ears, and her body was filled with an irresistible charm. Every smile had a boundless charm that could turn all living things upside down. She was like a goddess walking between heaven and earth. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Qidien. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1058. Erase if you have a ticket. The last one was completely amethyst in color, as if he was made of crystals. Every inch of his muscles was divided according to the golden ratio. His face was chiseled, and his long purple hair was like crystal silk. He exuded an ancient aura, and there was a hexagonal amethyst divine stone on his forehead. Standing there, he looked like a supreme deity. A formless pressure spread out in all directions. Such a strong ancient aura. These 3 are the beast gods of the beast race. Why are they here? It seems like they have connections with the Shifter Emperor. Oh right, the Shifter Emperor just took the fate treasure that should belong to the beast race from Emperor Wanshou, the ancient beast lantern. Could it be that they are here for the ancient lantern? No wonder no one would just watch as our clan's fate treasure is lost to the outside world. They would do everything in their power to retrieve it. They thought that the monstrous battle had come to an end. Who would have thought that there would be another wave in front of them? This made the All-Heavens cultivators, who were planning to leave, excited again. They secretly guessed the situation in front of them. Heaven Splitter Beast God Mengfu, Queen of Fox Huan Vijiao, Amethyst Monarch Ziwuji. The 3 great beast gods of the beast race. Know-it-all's golden eyes swept across the 3 newcomers. His tone was solemn as he said in a deep voice, "The 3 of you are not in the beast race, but have come here to block our way. Why are you here?" Although he said that, everyone present knew the purpose of their arrival. However, it was not necessary to say it out loud. In a conversation, it was important to grasp the initiative and seize the initiative. The Ghost Emperor of Fengdu, Tian Yunzi, and the Elven Queen seemed to inadvertently block the three beast gods. The Heaven Splitter Beast God, Queen of Fox, and Amethyst Monarch looked at the peerless experts in front of them. Especially when the Ghost Emperor of Fengdu was among them, there was a bitter feeling in their hearts. Originally, when the three of them appeared together, no matter where they were existences that could not be ignored. Naturally, they would bring about a powerful pressure, and their overflowing aura would be able to suppress the Shifter Emperor to a certain extent. At that time, it would be much easier to talk about other things. However, looking at the current situation, it seemed that their plan had been foiled from the very beginning. Don't misunderstand, we have no intention of becoming enemies with the Shifter Emperor. However, there is one thing that I would like to verify with the Shifter Emperor. Queen Thousand Fox chuckled. Her smile seemed to brighten up the entire world. His voice carried traces of power that could make one's bones go soft. Di Shirtian looked at the three beast gods with a faint smile. Haha, lunatic D, they must be here for the ancient beast lantern. This is the life treasure of the beast race. They won't let the lantern sit outside and ignore it. Such a lantern won't be of much use to us. Now is a good time to wait for the right price and extort some money from the beast race. The beast race inherited the heritage of the savage beasts, so they know many ancient secrets. Ming stretched out his dragon claws and stroked the dragon whiskers by his mouth. His eyes kept rolling as he clicked his tongue. We have received a secret report that the ancient beast lantern of the beast race was obtained by the great Emperor Wan Shou, who secretly stole our race's fate. Now that the great Emperor Wan Shou has been defeated by the Shifter Emperor, I wonder if the ancient beast lantern is in the hands of your majesty. Queen Thousand Fox opened her pair of beautiful eyes and looked at Sakura without blinking. In her eyes there was a look of anticipation and eagerness. That's right, the ancient beast lantern is indeed in my hands. Di Shirtian did not deny this matter. He wanted to wait for a good price, not hide it from everyone. A meaningful expression appeared at the corner of his mouth as he said, however, this ancient lamp is already this emperor's spoils of war. His tone changed, and the attitude in his words was vaguely revealed. Spoils of war? He was clearly telling them that the ancient beast lantern now belonged to him. He did not snatch it from the beast race, but from the great Emperor Wan Shou. It had nothing to do with the beast race. It was not impossible for them to take it back, but it was impossible for them to take it away so easily. Three beast gods, although the ancient beast lantern originally belonged to the beast race, since it has been lost, it means that anyone who is fated can obtain it. Don't you think it's too easy to take back the lantern just because you said so? The know-it-all king teased with interest. My husband, the Jade Pool, has prepared fine wine and delicacies. Why don't we have a chat in the Jade Pool? At this moment, Chun Shi invited virtuously in the demon court. All right, why don't we have a chat in the Jade Pool? Di Shirtian heard and nodded in agreement. In that case, sorry to disturb your majesty. Queen Thousand Fox sighed and looked at the other two beside her. They quickly reached an agreement and agreed with a smile. Immediately there was no more hesitation. Di Shirtian led the way and entered the demon court hand in hand with the Fengdu Ghost Emperor and the others. They went straight to the Jade Pool and sat down in a pavilion on a lotus lake. The air was filled with the faint fragrance of lotus flowers. On the jade table in front of them were plates of supreme delicacies cooked by the culinary god clan using the rare treasures grown on the reincarnation divine spirit tree. They emitted a tempting fragrance. Dragon liver, phoenix gallbladder, snake soup, fish soup, flying in the sky, swimming in the sea, and running in the mountains. Almost everything was available. It was a feast of treasures. Any one of these plates could make hundreds of millions of cultivators break their heads. Blood was spilled. The wine was the best 10,000-year-old wine, 100 flowers fairy wine. It was impossible to see it in the outside world. It looked, smelled, and looked delicious. Just one look at it would make one's mouth water. However, in the eyes of the heaven-splitter beast god, Queen Thousand Fox, and the others, it was dull. They were still concerned about the supreme treasure of the beast race. They were not in the mood to eat, drink, and enjoy. Di Shirtian, Chen Shi, the Fengdu Ghost Emperor, the Demon Lord, the Know-It-All, Tian Yunzi, the Elf Queen, the Heaven-Splitter Beast God, Queen Thousand Fox, and the Amethyst Monarch sat around the jade table, but none of them picked up their chopsticks first. The Heaven-Splitter Beast God took a deep breath and glanced at Di Shirtian with his golden eyes. He said in a deep voice, "Demon Emperor, let's not beat around the bush. The ancient beast lamp is the treasure of fate for the beast race. We can't let it be lost. However, since the Demon Emperor took it from Wan Shou, the beast race will not let you suffer a loss. Why don't we trade for it?" Trade? Di Shirtian's eyes shone with curiosity. Among cultivators, trading items had always been the simplest and most common method. Even among the great divines, such gatherings also existed. He could not help but be curious about what the beast race could offer in exchange for the ancient beast lamp. At the beginning of the conversation, both the Ghost Emperor of Fengdu and the Know-It-All expert were paying close attention, but no one dared to interrupt. This was the rule of a transaction. During a transaction, no one was allowed to interrupt without a special reason. That's right. The beast race will definitely offer something satisfactory in exchange for the ancient beast lamp. The Queen Thousand Fox's perfect and delicate face glowed with a gentle light as she said with certainty, "Then what can you offer in exchange for the ancient beast lamp?" Di Shirtian did not talk about friendship with them and went straight to the point. He was curious about what they would offer in exchange for the ancient beast lamp. This was a rare treasure in the world. The Queen Thousand Fox waved her hand, and a gentle light flashed in front of her. 3 ancient psychic jade boxes appeared in front of her. Suddenly, everyone's eyes fell on them. Crack! The Queen Thousand Fox pointed her finger at the first box, and the seal on the box disappeared immediately. The box opened, revealing a silver-white ancient mirror. The ancient mirror was inscribed with natural Tao patterns. Each pattern was like a crescent moon, and it carried extremely pure Taiyin energy. What pure lunar energy! This ancient mirror definitely has a history. It's a natural spiritual treasure. Nether secretly cried out, "Ha ha! This mirror is a medial connate spiritual treasure that the beast race obtained during the war with the demon god continent in ancient times. The Taiyin crescent moon mirror. It has great battle strength. Even powerful beings like us can use it. It contains a chapter of the Taiyin Crescent Moon Manual, which can help a cultivator cultivate to become an unparalleled expert. Your Majesty, what do you think of this treasure?" Queen of 10,000 Fox pointed at the ancient mirror and introduced. After that, her pair of beautiful eyes also fell on Sakra's face, wanting to see his reaction. "It's not enough." Di Shirtian's expression didn't change as he calmly spat out a sentence. How could a mere middle-grade innate spirit treasure compare to the ancient beast lantern? However, Chen Shi's expression changed slightly when he saw the Taiyin ancient mirror, but he didn't say anything. "Very well, please take a look at the second box." The Queen of Thousand Foxes did not expect to be able to get the ancient lamp back with just a mirror. She smiled and opened the second jade box. Inside the jade box was a snow-white spiritual pearl. Inside the pearl, there seemed to be a source of pure yang energy circulating continuously. It was as if any evil would be burned to ashes in front of this energy. It exuded a pure yang energy. The divine sun pearl. The moment he saw the spiritual bead, Indra's eyes shone brightly as he blurted out a sentence. With a single glance, he recognized that this was the divine sun pearl, one of the 9 great spiritual pearls of the world. That's right. This spiritual pearl is a rare treasure of heaven and earth. It contains the power of the sun origin. Once consumed, it can transform one's body into the holy body of the sun. Its potential is limitless. The Queen Thousand Fox could see that De Chertion was very interested in this spiritual pearl. However, she didn't take this opportunity to ask for the lamp. Instead, she pointed at the third box and opened it. Inside the jade box, there was only a simple and unadorned token. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1059. Brothers with tickets, please support me. A token. There was only a chaotic medallion in the jade box. The medallion did not give off the slightest pressure, nor did it give off the presence of a natural spirit treasure. It seemed like an ordinary medallion carved from ordinary marble in the mortal world. There was nothing unusual about it at all. But for some reason, when he looked at it, he felt as if there was a mass of chaos revolving around it. On the front of the token, there was a pattern of endless chaos, and on the back was a picture of an ancient city. All around, there were lines of chaos that interweaved and distributed on every inch of the token. However, they seemed to be abnormally rigid and had no spirituality. There was a strange sense of contradiction. A gasp came from the nether prison. Ming's dragon eyes were so wide that they almost pierced through the nether prison. He hurriedly cried out, "Madman D, hurry up! You must get this medallion. It's a really good thing, a real supreme opportunity. I didn't expect that the orcs would keep such a medallion. It may not be of much use to others, but it will be immeasurably beneficial to you." "Alright. I have no use for the ancient beast lantern, so I'll trade it with you today." Even though Sakra didn't know exactly what this command token was and what sort of enormous effects and benefits it possessed, when he saw Ming so excited, he guessed that it was definitely a rare and good treasure. Without hesitation, he reached into the void with his left hand. It was as if he was reaching into water. Ripples appeared under his hand. When he retracted his hand, an ancient bronze lantern appeared in his hand. The ancient aura that was constantly emitting from the ancient lantern could clearly be felt. This lantern in front of him was definitely the ancient beast lantern of the legends. Ancient beast lantern. Heaven Cleaver beast god, Amethyst Emperor, and Queen of Thousand Foxes all looked at the ancient lantern at the same time. They could not wait to swallow it. "Let's start the trade," De Chertion said calmly. "All right." Both sides reached an agreement. At this moment, no one wanted any accident. The trade was carried out in a friendly atmosphere. The 3 jade boxes were sent into De Chertion's inner world, and the ancient beast lantern was handed over to Heaven Cleaver beast god. Once the transaction was completed, both sides secretly heaved a sigh of relief. "Demon Emperor, we, the Beast Clan, are indebted to you for getting the ancient lamp back. If there is a chance in the future, we will definitely come to the Demon Court to disturb you. However, today we have to return to our clan first. It is a pity that I cannot drink with your majesty." The Amethyst King stood up. Every word and every sentence carried a kind of strength that was like metal and stone. "Since the 3 of you have something to do and have to leave, I will not stay any longer. I will prepare good wine and delicacies to entertain you in the future." De Chertion was not surprised to hear this. This was the Demon Court. Now that the Demon Court had reached the pinnacle of the Supremes, their fighting strength was monstrous. In addition, there were several peerless experts guarding the place. With the ancient beast lantern, how could Queen Wan Fox be calm enough to enjoy the food here? They were afraid. They were afraid that the Demon Emperor would go back on his word and leave them in the Demon Court, forcefully suppressing them and seizing the beast race's ancient lamp. Although the possibility of this was not high, none of them were willing to take the risk. After all, there was a saying in the world, "It is better to be safe than sorry." Naturally, they would not take the risk. They represented the strongest power of the Beast Clan. If anything happened to them, the beast clan would definitely suffer heavy losses. The three beast gods nodded and left hand in hand. They left the demon court. The ghost emperor of Fengdu and the others did not ridicule this. With their high status, their lives did not only represent themselves, but also the countless lives behind them, and even the fate of an entire clan. They had no choice but to be cautious. Come, these are all supreme treasures cooked by the Divine Cuisine clan. This time, Brother Fengdu, fellow Taoist Tian Yunzi, and the Queen all help. Sure, Tian has nothing to thank you for, so I can only express my gratitude with this table of dishes. Sure Tian signaled the maids beside him to fill the wine cups in front of them. He. Demon Emperor, I remember the ancient agreement clearly. Today, I will properly taste this 10,000-year-old immortal wine. Know-it-all stared at the wine pot with shining eyes. There is still a lot of 100 flowers immortal wine in the jade pool. If you like, feel free to drink to your heart's content. This war is all thanks to all of you. Chen Shi would like to propose a toast to all of you. Chen Shi spoke leisurely as he picked up a cup of wine and proposed a toast. In this place there were basically no outsiders. Once the banquet started, there was no need to be too scrupulous. They all picked up their chopsticks and tasted the delicious wine and delicacies in front of them. After 3 rounds of wine, the ghost emperor of Fengdu slowly put down the wine cup in his hand and looked up at Sure Tian. His face was still gentle as he said, Brother Sure Tian, in this war with the Wanshou imperial dynasty, Emperor Wanshou was removed from his throne, and the imperial dynasty was completely destroyed. You and the human clan have tested each other. What plans do you have for the future? As he spoke, his expression was already a little solemn. That's right. The human clan's foundation has accumulated to an extremely terrifying level in these tens of thousands of years. For example, the 6 ancestors of Taoism and the 3 Buddhas of Buddhism are all unparalleled powerhouses with great abilities. The power hidden in the dark must be even more terrifying. Now that the annihilation tide is about to arrive, in my opinion, the demon court shouldn't clash head-on with the human clan. Otherwise, both sides will suffer losses. Tian Yunzi also nodded and gave his suggestion. Now that the heavenly human clan and the elf clan had moved into the demon court, it could be said that they were bound together for good or ill. Their interests were almost the same. Naturally, they had to consider for the demon court. They also had no intention of staying out of it. At their level, many things were already clear in their hearts. If you want to get more, you have to give more. This was a truth that would never change. I won't fight the human clan head-on for the time being. We still need them to resist the invasion of the demon gods. Sure Tian smiled faintly and said, if we don't personally experience the taste of fighting the demon gods, how can we let them experience the grief and pain of the demon clan back then? He didn't want to abandon such a shield. Yes. If I'm not wrong, the great demon god tribulation that will sweep over after the annihilation tide this time will be so large and fierce that it might cause the entire origin world to collapse. Even the demon god continent might be destroyed. This battle for the 3 roles and 1 chart is just the beginning. However, if we grasp it well, it will be an opportunity for transformation in the battle. It will be of great benefit to the demon clan. The ghost emperor of Fengdu said meaningfully. It seemed that there was an indescribable deep meaning in his words. When Sure Tian heard it, he could vaguely smell the endless smell of blood. It seemed that the annihilation tide this time was not as simple as he had imagined. The smell of blood would fill every inch of time of the Great Tribulation. The battle for the 3 roles and 1 chart is to stimulate one's potential through battle and advance to a higher realm. Sure Tian could understand the meaning in the Ghost Emperor's words. Blindly building a cart behind closed doors would never allow one to reach the peak. Only in battle could one comprehend things that they would not normally comprehend. How much time is left before the annihilation tide? Chen Shi suddenly asked. 100 years. The ghost emperor of Fengdu smiled faintly and slowly spat out 2 words. 100 years was a lifetime in the eyes of ordinary people. It was very long and very long. However, in the eyes of cultivators, it was just a blink of an eye, a period of time that would pass in seclusion. It couldn't be any shorter. You want to go to the chaos? The ghost emperor of Fengdu looked at Di Shirtian and asked. Although it was a question, his tone was very certain. It seemed that he was just asking to confirm. That's right. Di Shirtian did not deny it and nodded. As they chatted, they tasted the fine wine and delicacies. Time flew. This banquet lasted for a full day and night. They talked about all kinds of things. 3 days later, the ghost emperor of Fengdu left the demon court and returned to the netherworld with Fengdu city. At the same time, the 5 beast armies of the Wanshou imperial court mysteriously disappeared. However, the rest were killed by the 5 armies. The entire imperial court's territory was barren. No one was left alive. Large amounts of materials, treasures, and even immortal cities and imperial capitals were plundered into the demon court at the fastest speed. They were smelted in large batches and turned into the most fundamental essence, which was dissolved into the entire ancient city. It strengthened the stability of the ancient city. 3 days later, in the Lingshao Palace, the officials stood respectfully. Sakura sat on the throne with a dignified expression on his face. He opened his mouth and issued an imperial order. Pass down my imperial decree. All demons who have reached the ancient demon saint realm can enter the heaven-toppling ancient map and participate in the 3 lists and 1 chart battle. Before entering, send your true spirits into the demon sealing roll. We obey the decree. Hu and the other officials replied in unison. Pass down my order to the demon court. 3 months later, we will hold the demon horde arena battle. It will be divided into 129,600 arenas. In the arena battle, those who are outstanding in battle and remain undefeated for 10 rounds can enter the demon court as officials and rank 9. Those who remain undefeated for 100 rounds will be promoted to rank 6. Those who remain undefeated for 1,000 rounds will be promoted to rank 3. Those who become arena masters will be rank 2 and will be given the position of realm lord. Take charge of a realm. Di Shirtian ordered again. Your Majesty is wise. Old Fox, Mengshi, and all the other officials in the hall couldn't help but tremble slightly. From this edict, they already understood that His Majesty was going to start selecting subordinates and officially fill up the entire demon court. A large selection of talents was needed. The demon horde arena battle this time would definitely select a large number of elite. Pass down my order to the demon court. 3 months later, we will hold a demon horde recruitment. The topic is, how to take charge of a realm. The recruitment will be held at the same time as the demon horde arena battle. Who will host the recruitment? Selection of talent. It is not restricted to demons. Other than humans, any other race can come and enter the demon court as an official. Di Shirtian issued an edict for the 3rd time. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Qidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1060. Yes, Your Majesty. Old Fox, Mengshi, and the others' hearts shuddered as they agreed once more. Using how to rule a realm as the topic of the selection, it was clear that the purpose of the selection was to select those who had the talent to rule the world. There were 129,600 spaces under the demon court, each of which was extremely vast and could hold billions or even tens of billions of living beings. It was not a simple matter to manage such a large number of living beings, and it was not something that could be managed with just military force. It required the ability to rule the world. From these imperial edicts, Mengshi and the others could sense that the nearly 10 billion Yao people gathered in the ancient city would soon be distributed to the 129,600 spaces. They would be given more space to live in. They would be given more resources. When the Imperial Jade Archive absorbed chaos energy, it turned into various kinds of vitality energy and poured into the Ling Shao Demon Court and the various dimensions. When those dimensions expanded, all kinds of mineral veins and precious resources were born. In addition, there were the spaces plundered from the forbidden grounds of Heaven's Gate. It could be said that every space in the Ling Shao Demon Court was a huge treasure trove. Minister of the Left. Yes, Your Majesty. Who stepped forward and stood in the middle of the hall, bowing respectfully. How are the preparations for the auction going? Your Majesty, your humble servant has made the necessary preparations for the auction. When Hu heard this, his spirits rose and he immediately replied, since the news of the auction has spread, cultivators from all over the world have eagerly participated in it. A large number of treasures, essences of heaven and earth, heavenly materials and earthly treasures, and all kinds of divine weapons have been placed in the auction. When the time comes for the official auction, the total number of items auctioned will reach 30 billion, of which 20 billion will be auctioned off in secret. The remaining 10 billion will be auctioned off in the open. This matter was one of the top priorities of the Demon Court. As the Minister of the Left, who was naturally very familiar with this matter. Duobao, you are in charge of the Jubao Court. You have a unique appreciation for all kinds of rare treasures in the world. Since you have already taken over the auction, what do you have to say about it? Di Shirtian nodded and looked again at the boy standing on the left. He had white hair and a youthful face. He held a horsetail whisk in his hand and his eyes shone with shrewdness. After confirming that the boy of many treasures had accepted the invitation of the Demon Court, he did not hesitate at all. He used the blood altar to lock onto the position of the boy of many treasures and forcefully opened a passage to take him out of the land of exile. This was another top expert of the ancient times. According to legend, he was formed from a strand of treasure chi. The boy of many treasures always had a smile on his face. When he heard Di Shirtian's call, he walked into the main hall and said respectfully, "The Minister of the Left has just introduced the specific number of the various items in the auction. The scale is so large that it can be said to be unprecedented. Moreover, among the treasures collected from the other cultivators, there are some that the Demon Court does not have. There are even some rare spiritual essences of heaven and earth. All kinds of rare treasures have been privately bought and sent to the Imperial Treasure House and the Herb Garden to be transplanted. Moreover, the Demon Court has also taken out some of the treasures from the Imperial Treasure House. There are even items that the peerless experts need. I believe that as long as the auction is held, it will definitely shock the world." The boy of many treasures' snow-white long eyebrows trembled continuously, showing his excitement. However, there is still a lack of time. The boy of many treasures raised his eyebrows and suddenly threw out a question. If tens of billions of auction items were to be auctioned off, even if a few auctioneers were to be auctioned at the same time, the amount of time needed would be immeasurably long. This was a problem that could not be ignored. In the Demon Court, the great Tao of time was not complete. The great Tao of time was not complete. In the Demon Court, it was impossible to reverse the time difference, unless they entered the exquisite pagoda to hold an auction. I will solve the problem of time myself. You don't have to worry about it. Di Shirtian thought to himself. After a while, he nodded and signaled to the boy of many treasures. As long as there is no problem with time, the auction can be held at any time. The boy of many treasures promised confidently. Good. Pass down my decree. The Purple Clouds auction will be held in a month. In the auction, and even in the Demon Court, any transactions are only allowed to use demon coins. From today onwards, the demon coins will be renamed as the Soaring Clouds coin. Di Shirtian pondered for a while and ordered without any hesitation. Yes, Your Majesty. The eyes of the officials flashed with a trace of light, and they respectfully agreed. After a few things were done, the court dispersed naturally. Di Shurtian entered the jade pool and returned to his bedroom. In the bedroom, Chun-Shi, who was dressed in palace attire, sat quietly on the cloud bed. Around him, strange waves of 100 flowers essence were quickly absorbed into his body at an astonishing speed. Di Shurtian saw this and did not disturb him. He just stood quietly to the side and watched silently. After an unknown period of time, Chun-Shi slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air from his mouth. When he opened his eyes, a stalwart figure was imprinted in his eyes, and an inexplicable warmth flashed through his heart. "Husband, why didn't you wake me up? I like to look at you quietly like this." Di Shurtian smiled faintly, and there was a trace of gentleness in his eyes. He walked to the front of the cloud bed and sat down beside Chun-Shi. He reached out and held her perfect waist without a trace of fat in his hand. With a turn of his wrist, a jade box appeared in his left hand. When he opened the jade box, there was an ancient mirror inside. It was the middle-grade connate spiritual treasure from before, the lunar crescent mirror. Now that you have reached the peak of the ancient heaven demon, this lunar ancient mirror should be able to increase your strength a little. When you advance, you will have some additional skills. Di Shurtian smiled faintly and placed the ancient mirror in Chun-Shi's hand. In fact, he had already noticed Chun-Shi's interest in this ancient mirror long ago. He knew that she liked it very much. How could he be stingy to his family, especially his wife? At the same time, he felt a strong sense of regret in his heart. All along, he had spent too little time on his wife and family. "Thank you, husband." Chenxi's eyes brightened slightly. She took the tiny ancient mirror and smiled. "This tiny ancient mirror is indeed very useful to me. The pure tiny energy in it can be combined with a secret art that I have cultivated, the art of ascension of 100 flowers. It can open the spiritual cavities of all kinds of spiritual flowers and turn them into flower fairies. This will be a great opportunity to increase the number of maids in the jade pool. Cultivating the 100-flower immortal ascension technique will increase the strength of the jade pool. You can make all the decisions in the jade pool." Di Shurtian smiled. He didn't intend to interfere too much with the matters in the jade pool since he had left it to Chun-Shi. Looking at Chun-Shi's perfect face and towering saintess peak, he felt like a ball of fire was burning in his heart. He said, "Let's go to bed." Feeling the two blazing rays of light on her body, Chun-Shi's body temperature rose at an alarming rate. Her face flushed red, and she said softly, "It's daytime now. I love you." Indra looked at her eyes and spat out 3 words full of emotions. This sentence was like an aphrodisiac, igniting the flame in her body on the spot. Chun-Shi's body went soft as if she had no bones and fell into his arms. Not long after, an intense battle broke out in the bedroom. A day later, 3 consecutive edicts were sent out in the demon court. The contents of the edicts not only shocked countless demon clans and cultivators in the demon court, but also caused a huge commotion in the purple gold mainland. All kinds of rumors were spread. "My goodness, the demon court is so generous this time. They just destroyed the Wan Shou imperial dynasty, and they immediately caused such a huge commotion. The demon emperor really doesn't want to rest." However, these 3 edicts clearly indicate that the demon emperor intends to reorganize the demon court. The demon horde arena battle? If you can last 10 rounds in the arena, you'll be able to become an official of the demon court. If you can last 100 rounds, you'll be able to rise by 3 ranks and become the final arena master. You'll actually be able to control a realm and become a realm lord. Why are only demons allowed to participate in such a thing? If you can join and luckily become a realm lord, how glorious would that be? Who didn't know that the demon court had great potential? Cultivating there was dozens of times better than cultivating in the purple gold mainland. It was easier to break through bottlenecks, and there was even a chance to enter the heavenly staircase and reach the heavens in one step. Countless cultivators were rushing like ducks to live in the demon court. They felt bitter that other races were not allowed to participate in the demon horde arena battle. They secretly beat their chests and stomped their feet. Recruitment, haha, there are no restrictions. Apart from humans, all cultivators can participate. If you are lucky enough to be selected and enter the demon court as an official, you can ensure that your true spirit is not destroyed. This is a rare opportunity. Hurry, get ready, I'm going to participate in the recruitment. The second edict gave countless cultivators an opportunity. Many cultivators who believed they had the ability to govern the world were preparing to go, full of confidence. What? The Purple Firmament auction will be held in a month? Moreover, there will be 30 billion rare treasures in the auction. There will be treasures for peerless cultivators to magic treasures and pills for ordinary cultivators. Everything you need will be there. Such a grand auction is simply unprecedented since ancient times. If I miss it, I'm afraid I'll regret it for the rest of my life. No matter what, I can't miss it. Hurry, get ready to go to the demon court. Haha, I'm definitely going to broaden my horizons this time. It just so happens that I want to refine a treasure. I'm still missing a few rare materials. Let's see if I can buy them at the auction. The 3 edicts touched the nerves of countless cultivators. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidien. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1061. Brothers with tickets, please throw in a few. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Streaks of light could be seen everywhere in the Zijin continent, streaking across the sky. War chariots could also be seen traversing the skies, calling out to their friends and gathering in group. They were headed for the demon court. Each of them had a different goal in mind. Some were preparing to participate in the recruitment fair, while others were preparing to participate in the auction. After the demon court emerged from the ancient Heavenfall painting, wave after wave of cultivators entered the ancient city from the 4 heavenly gates in a steady stream. The number of cultivators in the heavens was increasing at an alarming rate. Just as cultivators were pouring into the ancient city, suddenly, a golden figure descended from the sky and landed outside the soaring Heaven King Palace. Look, what's that? Who's that? Why did he crash down from the sky? This sudden turn of events attracted the curiosity of countless cultivators, who all turned to look at the figure. Monster Emperor, as the great emperor of a dynasty, my status is illustrious. We're both emperors, and we both cultivate the Tao of emperors. How dare you treat me like this? I can't accept this. I curse you, curse you. My treatment today will be your treatment in the future. You will be despised by all ages and cursed by millions of living beings. I curse you to never be able to ascend to the sovereign realm. An angry curse tore through the air. The power contained within caused the curse to spread to every inch of space in the ancient city. You won't see it. A cold voice echoed in the air. Outside the Lingshao Palace, the Emperor of Longevity was dressed in golden imperial robes. His black hair danced wildly in the wind, and his face was twisted with unwillingness. A mighty force pressed down on his head. He couldn't help but kneel on one knee and face the Lingshao Palace. Emperors were the proudest existences in the world. Their hearts had always been the strongest. They'd never submit to any powerhouse. Not to mention an emperor who'd once stood at the pinnacle of the world. Kneeling on the ground with a single knee, the Emperor Wan Shou felt as though his entire body was about to be incinerated into ashes by the boundless flames of fury in his heart. However, it was clear that he no longer had the right to be angry. Starting from his feet, a layer of golden light began to emanate from the Emperor of Longevity's body. It swiftly spread upward, and wherever it reached, every inch of his flesh and even his clothes began to turn into a cold golden color. His feet and kneeling knees were completely connected to the ground, as if they were part of the ground. The speed of this golden transformation was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, It had already enveloped the longevity emperor entirely. Hiss! Countless gasps could be heard in the air. Countless pairs of eyes stared at the longevity great emperor who had already turned into a golden statue, their faces filled with disbelief. He really turned into a statue. This is the everlasting great emperor, the previous ruler of a dynasty, an existence that stood at the peak of the world. He was actually turned into a statue by the shifter emperor, kneeling before the numinous sky palace to repent. If the everlasting great emperor still has consciousness, he'd probably be fuming with rage until he dies. Terrifying, truly terrifying. To think that an emperor would end up like this. This is the cruelest punishment for the longevity great emperor. There's probably nothing crueler than making him kneel in the demon court and suffer the scorn of millions of living beings. The shifter emperor's dignity is not to be violated. Countless cultivators who had entered the demon court felt a chill run down their spines. At the same time, they shivered inwardly and retracted their previous thoughts. The legend of the celestial prison rang in their mind. It was undeniable that the scene just now had brought a trace of solemnity to the hearts of the all-heavens cultivators. In the core space, Sakra appeared out of thin air and swept a glance at his surroundings. The Jade Archive of the Emperor Realm was still revolving at a constant speed, wantonly devouring the boundless primal chaos chi. Within the Jade Archive, the chains of law were still firmly binding the Blood Lotus, constantly devouring the power of the Blood Lotus. There were 1,000 Tao Lotuses scattered all around. Each Tao Lotus exuded a different aura, Tao rhyme, and even a completely different kind of chi of heaven and earth. It was exceptionally mysterious. Crazy Emperor, how do you plan to perfect the great Tao of time? Ming asked curiously. The Grand Tao of Time is one of the 10 most powerful Grand Taos in the world. It has always been mysterious, and it is extremely difficult to master it. However, anything related to time is a heaven-defying technique, just like your wife, Chensi, who has mastered fleeting youth. It's not easy to perfect the great Tao of time. Although the Imperial Jade Archive was connected to the chaos and chaos energy was the mother of all chi, the source of all laws and great Taos, the absorption of chaos energy could indeed slightly improve the great Tao of time. However, at this rate it would take at least 10,000 years or even 100,000 to perfect it. Do you want to integrate the exquisite pagoda into the Jade Archive? If you want to perfect the great Tao of time, I still have these, Di Shurtian said calmly. With a wave of his hand, pieces of golden fragments appeared out of thin air above the Jade Archive. These fragments were of different sizes, but there were thousands of them, each with mysterious patterns on them. The fragments of the shattered gate of time and space. Ming's eyes lit up as he recalled his experience in the heaven-reaching pagoda. He remembered that when the gate of time and space was shattered, Di Shurtian had kept the fragments for no reason. It turned out that he planned to use them here. The gate of time and space is a supreme treasure condensed from the fusion of the great Tao of time and space. The great Tao of time and space contained in it can be said to be profound. Although the fragments are broken, there are still many great Tao laws contained in it. I believe that if these fragments are integrated, it should be able to complete the great Tao of time. Di Shurtian said as he sent these fragments into the Jade Archive. The chaotic divine flame appeared again in the Jade Archive. Under the divine flame, the fragments were refined at a speed visible to the naked eye. They were refined into strands of golden and silver-white laws and entered the Jade Archive. An instant is eternity, eternity is an instant. An instant is fleeting youth is eternal. The great Tao of time is like the cycle of reincarnation. In the Jade Archive, there was only 1% of the broken time talisman. Suddenly, mysterious words appeared and turned into a strange great Tao heavenly melody that reverberated continuously. Strands of golden laws entered the talisman. Immediately, the heavenly melody flourished and emitted waves of dazzling light. Golden threads appeared at the edge of the broken talisman. They intertwined and spread out rapidly. They were rapidly mending at a speed visible to the naked eye. The great Tao laws required to complete the talisman were actually not as vast as imagined. The initial completion was just like the bones of a human body. It was only a complete skeleton. The skeleton was already considered a complete body. Even so, it was equivalent to the current demon court. Compare the great Tao of the demon court with the purple gold mainland. It was like one only had a skeleton, while the other not only had a skeleton, but also flesh and blood grew on the skeleton. This was the difference between the two. Rumble. Even though the gate of time and space was shattered, the great Tao of time contained within it still allowed the time talisman in the Jade Archive to grow at an incredible speed. In just a moment, the great Tao heavenly melody outside the Jade Archive became dozens of times more intense. The time talisman had been completely mended. At the same time, a substantial Tao lotus appeared in the void again. Traces of time appeared in the Tao lotus. There seemed to be a long river of time slowly being born inside. The fragments of time and space were refined into a golden liquid. They quickly turned into threads and entered the void. They drilled into every inch of the Ling Shao Demon Court's city and quickly drew mysterious patterns on every inch of the divine crystals. They quickly covered the entire ancient city. Boom! The moment the Tao patterns were completed, the entire demon court shook slightly. At the same time, the entire ancient city emitted an eternal aura. It was as if the aura of the Tao had withered in an instant. Traces of time slowly flowed in the city. I feel that the world in the demon court has become more obscure and stable. Just now, I seem to feel that my life was constantly flowing forward. I can feel the traces of time. Could it be that the demon court has become stronger again? Is there another important great Tao that has been perfected? Many experts were extremely sensitive to the changes in the world. However, although they vaguely guessed something, no one wantonly announced it. They were only secretly shocked by the speed of the demon court's growth. It was constantly growing and even transforming. Time passed by at an astonishing speed. Every day, a large number of cultivators continuously entered the demon court from all directions. If the ancient city hadn't been continuously upgraded and the space inside hadn't been constantly expanding, it probably wouldn't have been able to accommodate the huge number of cultivators swarming in. However, at this moment, the city alone was enough to accommodate 300 billion living beings. After a month, there were no less than 50 billion foreign cultivators who had entered the city. At this moment, a large number of cultivators were gathered in front of a huge building. It was a vast clubhouse that occupied an area of hundreds of thousands of kilometers. This pavilion had a total of 5 floors, each of which was built to perfection. There were countless mysterious patterns. At the front, a plaque hung high up, Purple Firmament Auction House. In the air above the auction house there was a crystal screen. On the screen, several things to pay attention to during the auction appeared. At the same time, in front of the clubhouse, there were groups of armored guards. There was also a passage room that issued passes and auction numbers. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.